I drove field cuts through my neighborhood.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm your host, Lucky, and I'm here with Steve and Elle, and we're going to share some information with you.
What up, people?
Hi,
Hey.
Elle.
My avatar is not related to the information that we're going to show at all.
At all.
Yeah.
Ignore it.
In any way.
It's
Disregard.
just for fun. Funsies.
Completely,
They're just hanging out as buds.
Yeah, they're just friends. Just completely disregard the fact that they're just friends. Okay.
And that they have many things in common, including lawyers. You know, it's just, you know.
Well, let's not give it away.
Lots of things, you know.
Well, that's not giving it away. That's Alan fucking
Yeah, Alan Dershowitz, brother. Big
Anyway.
Allie D.
I wanted to start, if I could, by an update on my sleep schedule, because I had a thing that happened this morning that was insane in terms of my sleep and what I experienced. And I wrote down what happened afterwards, but I can wait for the chat and everything. But I wanted to start with that, if that's okay.
Okay, go ahead. And then I want to get right into this. I have an article I want to pull up. And
Yeah, I know, but this will just like blow everybody away. But anyway, no, I didn't mean that. Anyway, YouTube, I didn't mean that. Anyway, so
Yes.
This is what happened. Huh?
I was just going to say yes, Steve, because he said stunning thumbnail, Stever. Thank you, Stever. Yes, I love your thumbnail. I told you that before.
It's kind of messed up. But okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Elle.
Go ahead with your.
No. That was for me, reliving this. So I went to sleep at 1-ish, and I had a 4-hour-long dream, and I know that because I woke up afterwards frightened as fuck, and this is why. This is what I wrote. It's 9:27 a.m. was the last time I wrote on here, but I started at 5:10 or some shit. I said, I dreamt I got shot. I forgot shot because I was very tired when I woke up at that time, by someone having a dispute in public. So this is what happened, if I can recall the dream a little bit, is like some domestic dispute with like a family or whatever in public, and I'm there, and then eventually they shoot me in the chest multiple times with a gun.
Damn.
Not fun. 3 times, I think it was, if I recall, and the pain. And then as well as the left ear. So a fragment of the bullet got into my left ear, which was fun. There was build up to the event, which is, I'll just read what I wrote, where I was observing the behavior of the family, which included an adult son who was the one that shot me out of nowhere. I immediately went into shock and started crying and feeling the immense amount of pain as I waited for paramedics. It reminded me of real life, like when I got hit by the car in real life. Like that feeling was like, I'm going to die, but I'm not dying.
You were like reliving that trauma.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trauma is a real thing, man.
Trauma is real. It causes lots of biological reactions.
Yes. Okay. As I waited for the paramedics to arrive, that someone else called, I also attacked my shooter out of pure adrenaline and anger and was shot again. So that was the last shot that I had, that I got shot. And I was like, why am I not dead? I didn't die and was so confused at first, like, just kill me already. What the fuck? This is what I wrote. The paramedics arrived and others were shot after me, but not as badly. So the police apprehended the shooter while I continued to freak out. Then, as a paramedic was right about to remove a bullet fragment from my ear and said, this will hurt, which you really want to hear. As I braced myself for the pain, I woke up. I woke myself up. Then I immediately wrote down the dream sequence here. I was so frightened remembering the dream that I started crying, retelling it. Then I come back here again, and I said, I tried to sleep again, and I dreamt again. I was at work. My boss was there. I don't say his name. The atmosphere was laid back, too laid back. See, I always write like a writer when I do this shit. Even when I'm recounting a dream, it's like very like dramatic and shit. Some random chick came in like it was a public office, and he was trying to peacefully remove her from the building. I freaked out in my head, remembering the last dream with my shooting, because I know what happened in the previous dream, because I know that I'm in a dream. I don't know. It makes no sense. I whispered to him about it. I told him what happened in my dream, very Inception-y. The chick ended up chatting with me, and I tried to listen to her, engage with her, and calm her down, and get her not to do anything drastic. She walked around the room and seemed to be readying to leave at one point. I said we were trying to work, which it did not look like we were trying to work at that time, because we were all just shitting around. And she got offended. I thought she was about to leave until I heard scared people and looked back to see her pointing a gun at people in the office, like a crowd of people. I immediately thought, not again, and started to use my phone to dial 911. And then I woke myself up like, nope, and got out of the dream. Should I try to sleep again or give up? Then I did have another dream, but it had an ocean and toads present in it, no gun. But there was a little dispute at one point. So I'm like, I'm just trying to avoid getting shot in my dreams, dude.
Wow.
That's intense.
Gratuitous.
And I got like that was 4 hours and then another hour. That dream was an hour. That fucking dream that I just recounted was an hour long. And then the next one was an hour, a little bit over an hour. So I did not sleep very well. Miss Sleep Well did not sleep well.
It's weird.
I didn't die, though.
The things that you can remember and can't remember
Tough.
are wild, because the deep REM sleep state, your consciousness is like separate from your body, like fully, like your body's like shut down and the fucking like running at the lowest fucking possible amount that it can.
Oh, I should say that I did remember the previous dreams in the last dream as well. So this was a dream sequence, whatever. It was a bunch of dream sequences, and all of them I remembered the past dreams, which is super weird. And I don't think I've ever done that before. I was just trying to have a good dream.
My last dreams were planes hitting things. Like there were, for the last one was a smaller plane, and then the one before that was like a big military one. I'm just seeing planes like flying into things. Like I'm like, what the fuck? I wanted to shout out to Dov and ask, can you please grab the link for your wife's Sunday stream and put her channel link in the chat for us? Because we tried to find you guys on Sunday, but we had no idea how to do that.
Inept.
And I wanted to tell Drew that it is not uncommon for people to not get a notification and to be unsubscribed.
Oh yeah.
Twitter literally took away 1,000 subscribers from me today.
In one day.
1,000.
Nice. Ka-ching.
Yep. Like just there you go. Half of your followers or subscribers or whatever the hell it is, half the people gone. Yeah. So check and make sure that you're subscribed.
Half of those were alts anyway.
Oh, you think there was 500 alt accounts?
500 easy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Easy. Because there are a bunch of fucking weenies out there in the world.
Whatever. I'm not okay. We're not here for that though.
I know. So let's go.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do.
All right. I'm just being an instigator. Person who likes to instigate things.
Okay.
Like article reading and, fomenting dissent.
I just wanted to see if there's anything else in the chat that I need to see.
I am super guilty of fomenting dissent against bullshit.
You're a bullshit dissenter.
I am a bullshit dissenter. I admit it. I've come to terms with it. I'm okay with it.
I'm a bullshit sifter.
Sifter, that's right. See, I dissent it, and then you're like, well, what are you so dissenting about? And I'm like, well, have you sifted through this? And then you're like, yeah. And that's how we process things, Everybody's got a good thing that they can do. They've got talents,
Drew said, "Have you been shadow banned for our crazy conspiracy talk?" I have been shadow banned since day one. Like they don't like me. Since day one. But
they're mean.
So
yeah, bunch of mean burbs.
So most people know that Trump was raided. Mar-a-Lago was raided just the other day. What was it?
Could we remind them of that? Maybe I have the
August
White House
5th.
briefing.
Okay.
If we could look at that.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Just to set it up, because I think that should be first. Actually, now that I think about it, because
Well, I was gonna talk about.
if you're segueing.
No, I was gonna start with March 25th. About.
Oh, we're going in the timeline. That's good. That's good.
Oh,
Too.
chronological. Yeah.
That's
Okay,
what I was
that's-
doing. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
like
okay.
so.
I didn't know which page we were
I'm
on, but
setting-
we're on the right one
yeah.
now.
All right. So I found a bunch of information, and I kind of followed this trail, and I found out that I think that the reason why Trump was raided. And so I was going to start with this article to begin with that and it's from March 25th, 2022. I'm going to pull that up. And
That would be right
there's a
after
sequence.
the filing, right?
Like the day after.
Yeah, this is like about that filing. Okay, so there's a sequence of events that has kind of led up to the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid. And I think that these sequence of events are the reason behind it and the timing for it. And so that's what I want to showcase tonight is what brought us to where Trump is getting raided. And what I think a lot of people kind of somehow missed. And I haven't, I don't know. I don't watch every in the media. I can't say that we're breaking this as the first people. I can't say that. And I won't say that because I don't know that to be true. But I know that I personally haven't seen this anywhere. And I felt like this was really important to cover this specifically and really focus on this topic tonight and give it its own show. So Donald Trump sues Hillary Clinton over the 2016 collusion allegations. So this is from March 24th. Reuters. Did I say it right? Reuters. Donald Trump on Thursday sued his rival in the 2016 U.S. presidential election, Hillary Clinton, and several other Democrats, alleging that they tried to rig the election by trying his campaign to Russia. The lawsuit covers a long list of grievances the Republican former president repeatedly aired during his 4 years in the White House after beating Clinton. And comes as he continues to falsely claim that the 2020 election defeat by Democratic President Joe Biden was the result of widespread fraud. Now, I'm reading the article. That doesn't mean I agree with everything the article is saying. Just want to put that disclosure in there. Acting in concert, the defendants maliciously conspired to weave a false narrative that their Republican opponent, Donald J. Trump, was colluding with a hostile foreign sovereignty. The former president alleged in a 108-page lawsuit filed in a federal court in Florida. The suit alleges racketeering and conspiracy to commit injurious falsehood, among other claims. The Clinton representative did not respond to a request for comment. The suit seeks conspiratorial and punitive damages, Trump said. He was forced to incur expenses in the amount to be determined at trial, but known to be in excess of $24 million and counting to accrue, and the form of defense costs, legal fees, related expenses. Like, lucky him that he even has that to put up front, Jeff Grill, a lawyer who specializes in racketeering cases, said that Trump may have waited too long in bringing his racketeering claims. Civil racketeering claims are governed by a 4-year statute of limitations, Grill said, but there is usually a big dispute about when that 4-year period begins to run. So he said that the defendants may also argue various defenses, such as that the Trump lawsuit ignores the immunity granted to government agencies. The lawsuit doesn't set forth a pattern of racketeering, which is required for liability, or the lawsuit seeks to chill the exercise of free speech. Such defenses are usually resolved by after protracted litigation. So the defendants in Trump's lawsuit include, you'll know, probably recognize this name, Christopher Steele, a former British intelligence officer. The dossier written by Steele, which was circulated to the FBI and the media outlets before November 2016 election, set out unproven assertions that Russia had embarrassing information about Trump and some of his Republican campaign advisors, and that Moscow was working behind the scenes to defeat Clinton. So the 966-page report issued by the Republican-led U.S. Senate committee in 2020 concluded that Russia used Republican political operative Paul Manafort and the WikiLeaks website to try to help Trump to win the 2016 election. Manafort worked on Trump's presidential campaign for 5 months in 2016. Russia alleged election interference, which Moscow denies, sparked a 2-year-long U.S. investigation held by special counsel Robert Mueller. In 2019, Mueller released an exhaustive report that detailed numerous links between Russian government and the Trump campaign, but did not charge any Trump associate with criminal conspiracy. So yeah, like that is like, you know, that's pretty important right there. He did not charge any Trump associate with a criminal conspiracy. Mueller said that in his report that the Russian government perceived it would benefit from Trump presidency and worked to secure that outcome, and that the campaign expected it would benefit electronically from information stolen and released through Russian efforts. I don't know. It to me, it seems like Russia's doing a lot better right now with Biden, but you know, there's that.
So, in complement to that, I have the summary from the case itself, from Unicourt. Unicourt is the source of that.
Oh yeah, I think I have that too. I have that.
The summary is basically just telling you what the lawsuit says, so you don't have to read the whole 108 pages, which is a lot of legalese. And defendants this, defendants that, and they did this, the statement of facts, and it's all very complicated. So it like whittles it down to like who did what when alleged by this document, by the lawsuit itself, which I put in the chat, the lawsuit.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna show real quick the actual file, the motion. I think this is the right one. Is this the right one? This one is the February one with Sussman, not that one.
Oh, the Sussman case. Yeah, that did not go smoothly. So that probably helped this one.
Yeah.
Now they're still trying to dismiss this one a lot, like in the court filings.
Yeah, okay. Here it is. This is just so everybody can see what I'm talking about, the evidence. So this is the actual court filing that I found. And this is from a docket. This is 3/24/2022. So this is Donald Trump. And this, look at how many people are in this. And this is this is United States District Court of Southern District of Florida. Now that's important to note that it's the Florida court that this was all filed in. And it's not just Hillary Clinton, right? It's Hillary Clinton. It's the DNC, the DNC Services Corporation, Perkins Coyle, and Michael Sussman, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Like it's
our favorite people.
It's the Fusion GPS people,
the swampiest Democrats
McCabe,
you can find. Like
all the people that you probably, if you paid attention to any of the things that have happened with Russiagate, then you recognize, like, you know, the names and what is happening. And I was going to read some of this in here. I know you said you have a summary, but This right
It's
here,
the same thing as the summary.
Yeah.
What is
At that
this?
part.
Is
The summary is the same as the introduction, pretty much.
oh, okay. Then I'll just read the introduction because this is what this is what I read through already, and it's the way that it's worded. I'm just like, oh my god, it's like holy shit. So in the run up to the 2016 presidential election, Hillary Clinton and her cohorts orchestrated an unthinkable plot. Like it sounds like it's like a freaking movie.
Oh, it is definitely. It's a full-on movie.
Like this is the script right here. Like this is like this is the opening, opening lines in the movie. One that shocks the conscious and affirm. Oh my god, it's so much harder to read it from here. And it is an affront to the nation's democracy. Acting in concert, the defendants maliciously conspired to weave a false narrative that their Republican opponent, Donald J. Trump, was colluding with a hostile foreign sovereignty. The actions taken, and furthermore, of their scheme, falsifying evidence, deceiving law enforcement, and exploiting access to highly sensitive data sources are so outrageous, subversive, and incendiary that even the events of Watergate pale in comparison. I was reading it and I was just like, oh my god.
It has all the makings of a movie of the week.
It does. Under the guise of opposition research and data analysis and other political stratagems, the defendants nefariously sought to sway the public's trust. They worked together with a single self-serving purpose to vilify Donald J. Trump. Indeed, their far-reaching conspiracy was designed to cripple Trump's bid for presidency by fabricating a scandal that would be used to trigger an unfounded federal investigation and ignite a media frenzy. It did. It still does.
Cue the spray tan.
The scheme, oh my god, was convinced, coordinated, and carried out by top-level officials at the Clinton campaign and the DNC, including the candidate herself, who attempted to shield her involvement behind a wall of third parties. To start the Clinton campaign, the DNC enlisted the assistance of their shared counsel, Perkins. Is it Coy? A law firm with deep Democratic ties, in the hopes of obscuring their actions under the veil of attorney-client privilege. Perkins Coy were tasked with spearheading the scheme to find or fabricate proof of a sinister link between Donald J. Trump and Russia. To do so, Perkins Coy launched parallel operations. On one front, Perkins, their partner Mark Ellis led an effort to produce
Alias.
Okay.
Or Elias. Elias or Elias. I can't remember. Elias.
I think it was Elias. Mark Elias led an effort to produce spurious opposition research, claiming to reveal illicit ties between the Trump campaign and the Russian operatives. On a separate front, Perkins Coy partner Michael Sussman. If you don't recognize that name, you might not have been paying attention to Russiagate. Michael Sussman headed a campaign to develop misleading evidence of a bogus back channel connection between email servers at Trump Tower and a Russia-owned bank. It's fucking crazy. It fucking reads like a freaking novel. Mark Ellis is a mission to obtain derogatory anti-Trump opposition research commission, Fusion GPS, an investigative firm, and its co-founders, Peter Fortesh and Glenn Simpson, and directed them to dredge up evidence, actual or otherwise. I love that, actual or otherwise, of collusion between Trump and Russia. Fortesh and Simpson in turn enlisted the assistance of Orbs Ltd. and its owner Christopher Steele to produce a series of reports purporting to contain proof of the supposed collusion. Of course, now fully debunked collection of reports known as the Steele dossier was riddled with misstatements, misrepresentations, and most of all, flat out lies. In truth, Steele dossier is largely based upon information provided to Steele by his primary subsource, Igor Dishenko, who was subsequently indicted for falsifying his claims. Even more damning, Dishenko had close ties to senior campaign official Charles Holiday Dolan Jr., who knowingly provided false information to Dishenko. I can't say their names. Who relayed it to Steele, who reported it in the Steele dossier and eagerly fed the deceptions to both the media and the FBI. I'm just gonna give it to both of them. Like as if you gave it to one, it wouldn't give it to the other.
Right.
As if they're one and not one and the same. This duplicitous arrangement existed for a similar self-serving purpose to discredit Donald J. Trump and his campaign. I don't know how much farther to go down into this. Like, it's really interesting. Like, we'll leave the link in the show notes if you guys wanna.
Right, that's why.
Like, the whole thing. I mean, like, there's just pages and pages of this, but like, it's really, really interesting. I don't want to spend all night reading it because it's like 108 pages. So
we'll all die of boredom.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's interesting. I think
it's interesting, but the legal stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it gets legal. It gets legally mumbly jumbly, but that first little bit, I was like, oh man, it's like, who wrote this?
A lawyer, allegedly.
I know, and he sounds like a good writer.
Well, a lot of legal documents really read very well, like a crime novel or something. Like they get really
they like write themselves,
especially like fraudulent ones or like ones about political shenanigans. Oof, those are the best ones. Juicy. But I wanted to also point out, or do we point it out yet? What else did we have here? Let's see. Oh wait, I have this. Oh yeah, this is better actually. Fuck, why didn't I say? I'll put this in the chat because this is a better summary of all the documents or whatever in the docket, so you can read the info about the documents, because you have to like pay for them, I guess, because that's how it is on Pacer. So you can just look at the docket here for the specific case on justia.com. Hold on. Docket. All right, this is a better one because you get more information, including that there were original judges presiding over this case, and one of them, I mean, they've recused themselves. Like a couple of them have recused themselves. Why? I wonder. But one of them happened to be, you might have heard their name, which is Reinhardt, Bruce Reinhardt, who we're going to get to. But
first we have, if we're going in order, we need to go for the first judge. That
I have no idea where we are in this. I'm very tired. Where are we? Where am I?
They just filed, right?
They just what?
That's where you guys are. They just filed.
We just covered the basic first filing that they had. And that was on the 3/24/2022, and then the first judge. I have notes written down just to keep my timeline proper. On 4/6/2022, the order of recusal came from Ryan McCabe, who's the original judge.
Oh yeah, was there a relation to Andrew McCabe, who's also listed as a defendant? Because I didn't look up Ryan McCabe if he was like part of the fam or anything, if that's why he recused. I'm not saying that's happened. I'm just saying that would be highly unusual.
I don't know, but I have the document that shows that he was
yeah, I do too.
That he was recused. I sent you. I think it's the one I sent you. The order of his recusal.
Oh no, I didn't get that. I got an image. An image is not enough for me. Is that Twitter? Yeah, I don't do images.
No, this isn't. This is on Twitter, but this is of the actual court filing right here.
but there's no like, I know that they exist because they probably paid for it, but they didn't, you can't link it is what I'm saying. It's like, so I've tried really hard to find the documents or whatever, like the recusal documents, but you have to pay for them or you have to sign up for a thing. And it's like really involved. So that's what sucks about these documents in the first place, is that you can access them, but you have to have money to do so, which is fucking great. And also it makes it harder for conspiracy realists, because a lot of these people are realistic and are looking at real things and real conspiracies. And this is an alleged conspiracy, as denoted by the lawsuit itself. You can see that exactly. You can see the actual time that happened in the order. And I think that was very helpful because it makes it look a lot more legitimate than
I have this
so
right
it's
here.
good to always back it up with that, because I just want the audience to know that a lot of things can be like manipulated online, but these things specifically are very money oriented and you just can't get documents. I tried to get a bunch of documents on archive.org, which is good for like actual documents from the case, which is good because like I got one with Reinhardt's name on it as the presiding judge, or one of them. So I think, you just
I have the docket information all right here too.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like we got to get that information as the audience, like as people observing the information.
Yeah, I was just giving them a clearer, nicer looking copy that someone had, but I have the actual court right here, the documents and filings. I have all of this.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is like that helps to confirm that, because that's what I went to and I was like, okay, good. Then we'll have that, thankfully. Because
I have
if anyone says anything at YouTube, if YouTube says some shit, YouTube will be in their way. We can be like, yeah, well, we got the documents. Shut up.
Yeah, no, I went and dived, and tried to find everything that I possibly could and find every document.
Exactly.
Some people do post them.
We should have
I appreciate the people that
we
pay
shouldn't
for
have
them.
to do, but we do, because they shouldn't make this shit monetary. It pisses me off as a legal person that you have to pay for documents. I don't think you should have to, but it should be readily available, especially if it's a civil case with federal, aspects.
So
that's just me.
This is the docket and the filing right here, and this goes over everything that and you can see right here that the judge was Ryan M. McCabe, and you'll also see the other one that we talk about, which is Reinhardt, and he's right here as judge number 4. And
William was the referring, and he recused himself. Matthewman. 3 recusals. Very strange.
Yeah. So this goes into all of the documents that we talk about. This is all of the filings, all of the motions that have happened. So we want you guys to know, like, that, I look into this stuff. I don't try to bring you anything that is not based, even if it's I can't verify that other image of the recusal is that, but I can tell you that I can.
It most likely is.
I can prove that it happened.
Let's be fair. It's probably correct. It looks pretty legalese to me.
Yeah, it does to me too.
We just need to be like, here you go. Here it is in plain print. Yeah, it's a long case from March to August. It's still ongoing.
It's a lot of people in the case too. I mean, if you look at and we look at it's the plaintiff is Donald J. Trump, but then look at these are all the defendants in that case. Like, that is a lot, and it was only filed in March. But then all of these individual people can have their own lawyers, and like they can draw this out forever if they want to.
They really can.
I think it's really important case that does need to, that needs to happen.
It is a little funny hearing him complain about racketeering when he made such a career on it, but okay, sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
So the first judge was on 4/6/2022. That was Ryan McCabe. Let me see if we have that.
Everything should be there. It's easier to get through this one than the other.
Yeah, this one's
docket that
dated out.
I did. And it has more information on this one than that one. I don't know why I used that one. I was like, never mind on that one. Fuck that one.
So and see, sometimes the dates don't like it's like when it was filed and when it like went through. So the date that I have written down is the 4/6/2022. So it should be right around in here. Where the judge recuses himself. I see, and this it says right here, signed by Reinhardt on 5/4/2022. So what is this?
Yeah, he was still there.
Yeah, he was there through June
until 6/22/2022.
Yeah, Reinhardt himself, he was there through June, so he kept himself on there. And these are important names that we're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be coming back up. Which one is it?
Wouldn't this be April? 4/6.
Oh yeah, I went down too far. That's why. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like,
no, May is after
wait,
April.
I went backwards. See, I'm going backwards in time, so I'm like, wait a minute.
Did you sleep well? Because like I didn't, and
no, I didn't sleep very well. It's probably
we
why.
need to sleep well. You didn't have a murder dream, did you?
I didn't have a murder dream. No.
No, she has plane crashing dreams.
No, last night I didn't. I had a weird dream though. I remember that. Like it was really weird. I
Oh,
woke
wait
up,
a minute.
Like feeling very
April
like
4th. That's important. Plaintiff's motion to disqualify Judge Donald M. Middlebrooks by Donald J. Trump.
Oh, yes. There was a motion here for that. And then there was also I meant to write my notes down on these and I didn't.
Sorry, you were saying.
I was saying I meant to put my note which one of these was what, because sometimes the dates don't like line up exactly. Like they'll be like it was filed on this day or it happened on this day. But this should be right in here. April 6th. Okay.
Baba Yaga, that means that he had grounds that he had laid out to disqualify the judge based on whatever they were. Like we don't know the grounds because we don't have the documents, so we can't.
Yeah, they haven't.
We
don't have all of the all of the information as to why.
Right. We
have to pay for that.
We just know that they made the motion to disqualify that specific judge.
Oh, order of recusal. Here it is.
Recusal.
Sorry about that, guys.
Still there, by the way.
Yeah.
So, Magistrate Judge Ryan M. McCabe recused. Case reassigned to Judge Reinhardt. Impaired Magistrate Judge for all further proceedings. Signed by McCabe. See attached document. J&D. So we can, like this is great because this will update too, and this will keep you, if you want to follow this case going forward, you can follow this way. It's really cool. Yeah, and then June 22nd. Yeah.
Alex, a motion is a request. It's just, requesting of the court something to happen. It gets denied or it gets, I don't know the other word. I'm tired.
Yeah, and they give you like a certain amount of time
approved
to respond to.
Yep.
Approved or denied. Most likely denied, depending on the motion. Those kind of motions, I feel probably won't be approved very often.
Okay, so June 22nd. So we're going this way,
yeah.
And we'll put the links in the show notes if you guys want.
I put it in there already.
Oh, okay.
I'll put it in again in case y'all want to keep up. Where's this book, bitch? Coming at you again.
So all this time from April 6 until June 22nd. Reinhardt.
Bruce.
Bruce.
We'll talk about Bruce. I got Bruce info.
All right, we're almost to the 22nd. All right.
Oh, it's right in there. It's after that. Yeah, order of recusal.
Okay, here it is. Yes, filing 186. I meant to write those numbers down for myself, and I totally didn't.
I got you.
So, he recused himself. Case it was then.
This is crazy.
Yeah, I know. And then it goes into
it just gets to this guy, to this guy, to this guy, and this guy's like.
It's like this is a very short period of time. So then he does.
They were like, "We got to recuse ourselves." Sorry.
I know, they're like, "Peace out."
Recuse me too. Let everybody recuse
me. Hey, while you're at it, if you're accusing people, put me down.
Literally, like within a week, girl. Within a week, 22 to 27. I can't.
They're like, listen, I've been looking at this over the weekend. Recuse me.
I don't like it.
I'm not like.
They're like, I don't want to be part of this. And then so, Peaches is laughing at us. All right, so I think that I can put this aside for right now, and then I have something else to show you guys along the timeline here. And this is just a background of why a judge would recuse themselves, like just legally, why that stuff. Like love just the why they why it's listed that they they can it's U.S. code. I don't how do you even say this? The S's? It looks like
I don't
S's.
know what the SS is on.
It's
28 U.S. code
455.
Disqualification of justice judge or magistrate judge. Also, there's a lot of misinformation that I'm going to get to about magistrate judges. We'll look at a document for that as well.
Awesome. Actually, I can get questions probably answered from an actual ex-magistrate too that I know. So in case we do have questions about things, I don't know if I would want to talk specifically about this political case, but just in general, if we have questions about a magistrate, we can probably get some on that.
There's a lot of misinformation on that.
Pat Everett is an asshole. So it says that they can any justice, judge, or magistrate, judge of the United States shall disqualify himself in the proceedings in which he is impartially might responsibility be questioned.
Reasonably.
Reasonably.
Oh, reasonably. No.
I was gonna say
you made it more difficult.
I did. What the hell?
You talk funny.
I'm really excited that I found this information on this case that's happening because we're getting closer to, the timeline of, just the other day when they did the raid and why. So, they may disqualify themselves from the following circumstances: personal bias, prejudice concerning a party, personal knowledge of disputed evidentiary facts concerning the proceeding. So, where in private practice he served as a lawyer in the matter in controversy, or a lawyer to whom he previously practiced law, served during such association as a lawyer concerning the matter, or the judge or such lawyer has been a material witness, concerning it. There's basically any conflict of interest. You're supposed to recuse yourself.
Just recuse yourself. It'll be fun.
They're probably related.
Right.
They know the same people at the same country club.
I mean, how do you keep a bias as a judge? How do you not have how do we say there's a right or a left-leaning judge and then also be there's no bias in this? You can't, a judge, there shouldn't be a political appointment to a judge. It shouldn't be political.
We do know that
be a conservative judge. That's so stupid because a judge is supposed to be a neutral person. It just shows the hypocrisy. It's all.
We do know enough about Bruce, but we don't know enough about the connections with the other two. So I will get into the Bruce stuff in a minute.
Yes. Yeah.
The conflicts of interest that might be reasons for this recusal.
So, like,
be.
you know, if there's, you know, there's a spouse or there's, you know, a person that, the, you know, a little bit of separation, you know, anything like that. Like, I can leave the links, you know, if you guys want to look into this further. But basically, you know, like, there are a lot of like reasons why, you know, you recuse yourself. You have financial interests, you know, mutual common interests, ownership of government secrecies or financial, and you know, anything that could tie you to that case. So why would these judges need to be recusing themselves from this case with the Clintons and Trump? Huh.
Things that make you go,
Yeah. So, all right. What did you have, Al? Do you have something to put in here too? I feel like I don't know if I need that tab open.
Yeah, I have the Politico article that was written on the 9th, so a couple of days ago. It has a little bit of backstory about, or actually, I want to tie it to this article from Palm Beach Post, but I wanted to do the Politico one first for reference, because a lot of the information in the Politico one is in the Palm Beach Post, but the Palm Beach Post is very biased. But they have a little extra information too, and they're trying to be biased, but they're also like telling on him a lot, which is funny to me. It's like, this isn't a whole big conspiracy, but like, look at what he did here.
Wait, is this one about the actual raid? Oh, we're not there yet. There's one thing.
No, it's about the judge, the connection to Epstein. So that's the part I wanted to focus on.
Oh,
he was part of the raid because obviously Bruce Reinhardt signed off on the raid. So
okay, because there was just one more part that I had. One thing that happened before the raid.
Search for it.
I just, in my timeline, I have one more thing that happened before the raid. That's all.
Oh crap! I don't know. So okay, but this is related to his recusal, maybe why he recused. We can circle back to the raid part and just skip to the part where it tells you about Bruce Reinhardt. So, I would say that would be at scrolling down to. Okay. Reinhardt's decision.
Wait, where are you?
This is just background or whatever.
Where? Oh,
like 3 paragraphs down. That line in between for some reason. Reinhardt's decision to grant the FBI's warrant request to search Trump's resort has sparked a firestorm among Republicans who have decried that what they call the weaponization of the Department of Justice. But one local prosecutor described Reinhardt, who has been a magistrate judge since 2018, as well respected within the Palm Beach County legal community. He is married to Circuit Judge Carolyn Bell, a former federal prosecutor who was appointed to the bench by then Governor Rick Scott, which is supposed to save everybody and be like, hey, look, Republican. A Republican who is now a senator. Nobody likes him, though. I don't even know if there are Republicans who like him, but all right. He's a former prosecutor and a defense attorney, and he's also known for being meticulous, said Palm Beach County State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg, a Democrat, of course, a Democrat was who elected, that makes sense, state attorney, but who
the fuck?
They need to do I'm available, Politico, if you need a proofreader, I'm available. Anyway, who once worked for Republican Attorney General Pam Bondi. Hey, we like Pam Bondi. Not everybody likes Pam Bondi, but all right. He's not going to make a snap judgment, he's added. Reinhardt could not be reached for comment. And then it goes on to say, magistrate judges, this is important for the Republicans and the weird liberals who like to defend conspiracies when it's their side, that magistrate judges are not appointed by the president, unlike what Twitter says a couple of days ago, but instead are appointed by district judges. Their duties can include dealing with bond hearings, handling technical issues in civil cases, and signing off on whether to authorize a search warrant. Reinhardt, who earned his law degree from the University of Pennsylvania and also graduated from Princeton, worked for the Treasury Department, the Public Integrity, I didn't know we had that, section of the U.S. Department of Justice. There was no justice, so I went to judgment, and spent more than 11 years as an assistant U.S. attorney. During that time, he handled more than 100 grand jury investigations, including cases involving healthcare fraud, public corruption, and tax fraud, according to a biography of Reinhardt posted by the private law firm where he worked for about 6 years. His official bio, which doesn't exist anymore, we'll get to that later, on the U.S. District Court, Southern District of Florida site appeared to be deactivated. Oh yeah, well, never mind. He worked as a federal prosecutor until January 1st, 2008, when a day later he became a defense attorney representing employees of Epstein, according to a 2018 story by the Herald. There he is. According to the Herald, the employees... Why are we laughing about that?
Because it's like, oh, wait, did we hear that name again? That Epstein name?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ding, ding.
Oh, no, I thought you were looking at the chat again.
There it is.
According to the Herald, I thought someone made it funny. Anyway, according to the Herald. Huh?
It was a Pavlov thing. Yes.
Pavlov.
Yes. Correct.
According to the Herald, the employees included pilots for Epstein, his scheduler, and a woman who had been described by some Epstein's victims as his sex slave. Epstein committed suicide, sure he did, in a Manhattan federal jail in 2019 while awaiting trial for sex trafficking. The Herald also reported that in 2011, Reinhardt was named in a lawsuit where he was accused of violating Justice Department policies by representing the employees of Epstein, obviously. Reinhardt denied the allegations. That was Edwards. I got another source on that, but I'll get to that in a second. Because it's a complimentary article to this, because they're really trying to save him, but they only hurt him more in the article. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, like I kind of was like, hey, Elle, I have this big fucking thing I want to break and like center like all this document. It was just like, yeah, like this really, like we can't wait for Sunday for this because I haven't seen this covered anywhere. So like we just kind of like both were like, all right, and pulled it all together. So this is what you're seeing are basically our minds working together live. This is how we work.
Watch how the brains work together.
This is how we work together.
I'm in the dark. Where was I? What is this article? There it is. Okay. Anyway, I was saying like the mainstream media tries to cover the tracks of these people, but then they end up digging the grave more for them. Proverbial.
Because they think most people, they'll put the information in there, but most people don't read that far down into the article. Most people don't read the whole thing.
Yeah, by the way, this happened. Sure.
They're like, yeah.
You're right about this.
And then people will be like, yeah, did you say Trump got raided? And like, but they don't realize.
But notice none of them are mentioning this case. Nobody is mentioning the case.
No, I know. Like, why is nobody talking about this?
That they leave that out. They go straight to Epstein. Epstein's better than this case for them. Like, that's insane.
That's anyway. Yeah, because Epstein's dead. Because they can smear Epstein all they want, so they can just be like, "Yeah, it's Epstein." Okay, keyword.
Let's get to the recusal part. Okay, so Law 360 reported in June. They reported it in June. Interesting timing. What else happened in June? What date in June was that? Let's find out.
June 22nd is when he recused.
Yeah. I want to see when this article went up. This is from June. Dang it. It says July 28th. So they're not even right. They lied. They got me excited for nothing. They lied. They literally lied. It says July, not June.
Politico, man.
Whatever.
This political article is from July.
I mean, they clearly need a proofreader.
Well, this article
need somebody to do some research.
The article that you're reading is from August 8th. So they just
No,
released
9th.
this.
And that's, I don't know
What?
how they fucked up
9th,
so
yeah.
much on the research angle. But
Oh, I see that. I was
June is
reading
in
the wrong
July.
date. I read August 8th up here, but it's actually, it was written on August 9th. It was written the day after the actual.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so Law
It's a lot of
360
dates to keep in
reported.
order.
Law 360 reported in July, not June. Politico, get your shit together. Who wrote this? Let me give you a little shout out. Gary Fineout. Get a proofreader. I'm available and I need money. Thank you. Moving on. Where are we at? There we go. Law 360 reported in July, not June, that Reinhart agreed to a request by Google that the tech giant be awarded attorney's fees after the tech company prevailed in a lawsuit that alleged Google had blacklisted a website because the site was owned by conservatives. Reinhart did not rule in the underlying lawsuit, but instead adjudicated a dispute over legal fees. Law 360 reported Reinhart did decrease the fee amount from Google wanted from stop. I can't. They're killing me.
I hate when they write like that. What the hell?
This is embarrassing. You're embarrassing yourself, Gary. Come on, Gary. Get it together. Gary.
Come on.
Go back to
Gary.
square one. Start over, babe. You need a rewrite.
At least read it
You
out
gotta have a
loud
rewrite.
after you're done
Get
writing
an
it.
assistant for fuck's sake, would you?
I'm available.
Do you really want to work for
Hire me.
Politico?
I
You don't want to work
care.
for Politico.
It's no worse than what I. Whatever.
I know.
They're all horrible.
Right, it's all horrible.
Let me
so-
put the 360 article so you guys can see it for your fucking selves.
It's
You can
funny
see most
because
of it.
you could say that you could work for them, but you would go insane because you'd be like, no, this is just full of all this bullshit, and this is how you should be writing. You would
Well,
rewrite
Politico is one of the least. Well, Politico, to be fair, did bring a lot of information about Hillary's campaign and Ukraine to light.
Yeah.
So I'll always give them credit for that, at least.
Yeah.
At least that much. So they were
Bare-
the only one
bare
talking
minimum.
about that. So
We
I
give
do
it
give
where
them
it's
credit for that.
due. We give credit where it's due. You know, they
So I did use them in the past for that. Okay, so federal campaign finance records. We're getting to the point. Okay. Anyway, from Google, wanted from more than $200,000 to slightly more than $145,000. Federal campaign finance records show that Reinhart in 2008 donated $1,000 to President Barack Obama's presidential campaign and $1,000 to the Obama Victory Fund, a joint fundraising committee. But he also donated $500, which is not the same amount, to former Florida Republican Governor Jeb Bush in 2016 when he was running for president. So, and it's all good. That's the same. State records show that over several election cycles, Reinhart donated $4,550 to a handful of candidates, including Aaron Berg, who we heard from before, as well as who doesn't have any reason not to like
Somebody
him,
ring the bell again? What happened?
money-wise, as well as candidates running for judge, state attorney, public defender, and a Democrat who ran for the Florida House. So after that,
That's
I have
it.
this very extensive fucking article. This isn't the one, is it? Yeah. Do I want to get to this? I don't want to get to this one yet. Do I? No, I don't want to get to that one yet. There's another one, though. Where's the other one? Nope, that's not it. I thought I had an article, but I can't find it. Oh, wait. I have the Palm Beach Post. That's what I was going to do. Fucking A. Which is from actual Palm Beach, which is where this happened. So let's just go to that one for the rest of the Bruce portion. And the Epstein shit and the campaign contributions.
Gamer, I love you. I love you guys. I love our fam. I just want to let you guys know that. I really, really do.
Now we got pictures of this dude who is quite a looker. Quite a looker.
Ew.
Handsome
amazing.
in a
Very
Okay.
grimy kind of way.
There was one thing though that happened before the raid on August.
This isn't
4th.
about the raid. This is about his connections and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Dun, dun,
Just-
This is
dun.
a complimentary article to that, which
Okay.
is supposed to be making fun of that art or making like that article be like the bastard stepchild or whatever. And it's like,
Right.
we're going to do a better job of this. But then they end up doing worse for him. It's funny as hell. I can't. This is so funny. It's like they're all just like bending themselves over trying to protect this guy, and they don't at all. They just cannot do it.
Fail.
It's impossible. It's so fucking funny. Anyway, this is hilarious. So let's get to it.
More cringe articles, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, bring it on.
Hey, Rob.
Magistrate Judge Bruce Reinhardt faces political firestorm after signing Mar-a-Lago search warrant. Updated 5:19 p.m. on today. So this is pretty recent. And hopefully this person has better, I think, I read it, and it does have better grammar. So we have that to look forward to. Okay, so we know what happened. We already talked about him doing that. So it says major news outlets from Newsweek to Politico, just calling them out directly, to Fox News, to the London-based Independent. Oh, wait, who wrote this? We got to see who wrote this. We want to know who to shout out. Jane Musgrave, you're amazing. Palm Beach Post. Great job, girl.
Why did it go to the rhinos? What the hell is happening here? Why are there cute rhinos here now?
I don't know.
Rhinos.
Because it's supposed to get rhino in your head, like Republican and name only.
Don't get it. Don't
look
get
at how cute they are.
Cute ass rhinos.
It's a distraction. Okay.
Rhino distraction.
It was an ad, I think.
Yeah. Well, I closed it.
Blue MAGA will stop at nothing.
So major news outlets from Newsweek to Politico to Fox News to the London-based Independent wrote stories analyzing the 60-year-old. Oh, you got to say his age now? Okay. Reinhardt's political contributions, his choice of clients, which aren't very good, don't you think, Jane? Come on. And other aspects of his
why do they
life.
show that he's 60 years old? Like, why does that, like, the 60-year-old?
I love when they do that.
What does that mean?
How's that helping you? Some reporters falsely claimed he was a Trump appointee. Yes, because they're stupid. They don't do their research on either side.
People are very confused at how like things actually work, and you know, and how like you know like certain judges are appointed, others are not. So you know, like it can get confusing for some people if they're not paying enough attention to what's happening because they hear, oh, a judge was appointed, a judge was
on
appointed.
Both sides,
you know.
Exactly.
And if you hear that over and over again, you think like, oh, well, they appoint the judges. You know, like I get where I even though we know it's wrong, like I get why
how they did that
becomes the norm.
It's almost like they put that out there as a possibility. Like obviously, if reporters were saying that shit, then reporters were adding to it. You know, that's what they said here, but they didn't make any fucking source. You know, they didn't add from Fox News or from whatever. What was the reporter? They didn't say that, but they said that some reporters. So we just have to go based on their words, and we don't have any source for that information. But anyway, moving on.
You know how NSM usually does all of their things. Just like a source told us, an undisclosed source.
In response.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. Sorry. What was that?
No, please go ahead.
Lucky. Did you want to say something, Lucky?
I don't know what I was going to say. Go ahead.
Okay.
I had a thought.
In response to Reinhardt's newfound notoriety.
Notoriety. The Fisher notoriety.
His biography and his contact. Okay.
The upper echelon of ballroom notoriety. Sorry.
Steve.
I was flashing back to a Bon Scott. Bon Scott, 1976. I'm sorry. We're back now, ladies and gentlemen. Before my time.
His biography and his contact information were removed from the website of the U.S. District of Court for the Southern District of Florida, as I said before.
What?
Officials didn't respond to an email asking why such unusual steps were taken, but Palm Beach County's State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg, if you haven't forgotten, I mean, if whatever the word is,
don't forget.
If you forgot who that is, that's the dude he gave money to. Okay, he gave campaign contributions to him, which we found out in the last article.
They're not tied together.
We just put that out there in the last article.
No, we don't do that kind of thing.
Anyway, he said it was in response to threats he had received because his check cleared, allegedly. I hear he's getting threats let me count my cash. No, go ahead. That his information was taken down. That's 500, 600 from the judicial directory, and he's the object of vitriol. 700 of from supporters of the former president. Are we done? Okay. Those who worked with Reinhardt during the decade he worked as a federal prosecutor in West Palm Beach said they are stunned by the misinformation and the malice being heaped on a magistrate who was simply doing his job. I just think it's a total misdirection, said Roger Steffen, who retired in 2020 after spending 32 years as a prosecutor for the South Florida U.S. Attorney's Office. There's no political equation that goes into approving a search warrant.
And here
what
he
is
is.
a magistrate?
And look at him.
Define what a magistrate is. In case you didn't know what a magistrate is, they're hired by district judges to help them with routine matters, as we've discussed previously. Simply decide whether law enforcement agents have established probable cause that a crime has been committed and that the search would uncover evidence of that crime. And then Steffen says, being a magistrate judge is not a political position. It's not whether someone's a Democrat or a Republican. Ellen Cohen, who worked with Reinhardt when he was a prosecutor, a defense attorney, and a magistrate, described her former colleague as meticulous, just like that other dude. All right. Every time I brought a search warrant to him, and I brought many, he'd read it, digested it, and asked questions. He wasn't someone who would sign off on it just because the government presented it to him. Are we done here? Okay. Like all magistrates, he has undoubtedly reviewed hundreds of search warrants since he joined the judicial ranks in 2018 when he was selected over 63 other lawyers.
It's all legit because he's done a lot, Al. He's done a lot of them, okay?
It's so many. You can't even count it. Like, it's way more than on his fingers. That's what he does every day, whether it's a crime of drug dealing, gun sales, or whether it's having possession of government documents or high security documents you're not supposed to have, Cohen said. They're not done. Since the warrant involved the unprecedented request to search the home of a former president, she said the warrant would have been vetted at the highest levels, and we found out today that that's true because Attorney General Merrick Garland came out.
Oh wait, I have a clip for that. I have a clip
for that too. It's probably the same thing.
It's 5 seconds.
Should we clip it now?
Yeah, I'm gonna clip it now.
Let's clip it. Clip it good. Is it from Yahoo or is it from someone else? NBC?
Huh? This is just
it's the 3 minutes that he gave us today.
No, this isn't a 3 minute clip. This is just a 5 second clip of him saying that he signed the warrant. Well, that he signed it.
But I wanted to play the whole 3 minutes because it's insane. He's just like, yep, that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
For context, yeah. From 37:22 on. Coming at you, 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, I'm late on my banana eating. Let me go ahead and do that while this plays.
And I'll just come back to why he signed, like what happened before this, because that's what triggered all of this. We haven't gotten to the reason.
What's going on?
I'm getting that clip up, but I have information to share before we like that as to why this all happened. Still. Okay, let me.
Since I became Attorney General, I have made clear that the Department of Justice will speak through its court filings and its work. Just now, the Justice Department has filed a motion in the Southern District of Florida to unseal a search warrant and property receipt relating to a court-approved search that the FBI conducted earlier this week. That search was of premises located in Florida belonging to the former president. The department did not make any public statements on the day of the search. The former president publicly confirmed the search that evening, as is hinted on the day of the search to the former president's counsel, who was on site during the search. The search warrant was authorized by a federal court upon the required finding of probable cause. The property receipt is a document that federal law requires law enforcement agents to leave with the property owner. The department filed the motion to make public the warrant and receipt in light of the former president's public confirmation of the search, the surrounding circumstances, and the substantial public interest in this matter. Faithful adherence to the rule of law is the bedrock principle of the Justice Department and of our democracy. Upholding the rule of law means applying the law evenly, without fear or favor. Under my watch, that is precisely what the Justice Department is doing. All Americans are entitled to the even-handed application of the law, to due process of the law, and to the presumption of innocence. Much of our work is by necessity conducted out of the public eye. We do that to protect the constitutional rights of all Americans and to protect the integrity of our investigations. Federal law, long-standing department rules, and our ethical obligations prevent me from providing further details as to the basis of the search at this time. There are, however, certain points I want you to know. First, I personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter. Second, the department does not take such a decision lightly. Where possible, it is standard practice to seek less intrusive means as an alternative to a search and to narrowly scope any search that is undertaken. Third, let me address recent unfounded attacks on the professionalism of the FBI and Justice Department agents and prosecutors. I will not stand by silently when their integrity is unfairly attacked. The men and women of the FBI and the Justice Department are dedicated, patriotic public servants. Every day, they protect the American people from violent crime, terrorism, and other threats to their safety while safeguarding our civil rights. They do so at great personal sacrifice and risk to themselves. I am honored to work alongside them. This is all I can say right now. More information will be made available in the appropriate way and at the appropriate time. Thank you.
Attorney General, the former president said this is
FBI agents.
Thank you all for your questions, but as I said, this is all I can say at this time.
I had to turn the air on because I'm dying here. Are we circling back to the article for the Epstein stuff, or are we too early for the Epstein? You're muted.
I don't know where to put this exactly in here. Was just that there was that Trump on August 4th put in a motion for his court case, for the one where it's him versus Hillary and the DNC and everybody else. On August 4th, he put in a request to deny the dismissal of the case because they were trying.
Yeah, that would be in response, right? Because they did a bunch of motions to dismiss.
All of the different people that Trump had filed against and in the DNC. Now they're trying to get this entire thing just dismissed. But he put in for a motion so that they can't dismiss the case and that they're going to go forward with the trial.
demanding a jury.
To be fair, let's just say also in most civil cases that are brought to court, there is a motion to dismiss on either side from defendants usually.
Yeah, but it's just the timing of this. That happened on here.
I understand that. No. I get it.
The time wise.
I'm just saying in general, like this is kind of how it goes.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying time-wise, the reason why this is significant to me is that it just happened on August 4th. No, I'm just trying to explain to everybody else because this is like a big part of what is happening as we go through the timeline. Okay, so back in, let's see, I want to make sure I get my dates right. On 3/24/2022, Trump files this lawsuit against Hillary and the DNC. And then it continues on. And then there's an order of recusal where Ryan McCabe, the original judge, recuses himself. And then we go on to June 22nd. And then Reinhardt, the second judge, recuses himself. And there's other judges that follow in line. And if you look at the dockets and filings, you can see exactly who is on there the whole time. And just to, I'm just giving some context as to backing up what we're saying here. And then on August 4th, there was a request, the motion to dismiss the cases. They're trying to get the case dismissed, and they're just like, yeah, no, there's just nothing to see here. And that is very typical in this type of case. That's not. I'm not saying that that's like, a bombshell thing that they are doing that, but it's the timing of the date that they do this, because then a few days later is when Merrick Garland signs this warrant, and these judges are all working and completely in sync with each other, and it's within days of Trump filing that, and they can't dismiss this case. So then he gets hit with Mar-a-Lago. Like, that's just insane to me that this is like, this other case is happening and it's not being covered widely, like that I have seen. I don't know if anyone else, maybe you guys can tell me if you guys have seen it other places, but I haven't seen this case being covered. The actual fact that Trump is going after Hillary for Russiagate, and that these things are happening, and they're and then immediately he gets a raid at Mar-a-Lago. Like, you can just,
objectively, it does look like
by the same guy.
Yeah,
by the same guy. That's the thing. That's the red flag.
Who recused himself. That's insane.
Yeah.
So the guy that recuses himself,
it's just too much.
Decides, no, well, I'll just
a recap.
I'll just get back in the game, coach. And
who's also connected to Epstein. Right. Amazing.
Right, the circle.
Yeah, you can't make this up
of life.
Except they do.
Oh, Drew, yes, the media is owned. Yeah, once we get through this, I just wanted to bring that back up just so that we are following along on the timeline of where we are going. So we're right around almost to current time right now with what's happening.
Well, I'm going back to Epstein, so.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, but I'm just saying in the court filing timeline, this is what brought us to this point, and this is why.
And there was a recent one too that I have.
Two things happening simultaneously at the same time is what I'm saying. They're overlapping, and it's not being seen as like an overlap between these two things. It's like this new thing is overshadowing the fact that Trump is suing the DNC and Hillary and everybody else. Like, it's completely overshadowing it, and everyone's focused on one thing but not realizing that the other is like right there under the fucking surface. It's crazy. So I'm gonna bring back up your article so we can.
And then I'll go with the appointed document, and I'll put that in the chat for the people who like to read documents. It's not very long, so I'll read a little bit of it. Yeah, it's just one page. So I'll read about his appointment after we finish this article. So we have all the information available.
Yeah, and I have a video to play after this article real quick, just because, Drew said the media is owned. I'll show you guys something big. It's crazy. All right, go ahead. We were, I think, right here.
Yeah, we're at Epstein. He's coming up.
Is it this? Is it right here? Do I have the right spot?
I kind of wanted to skip her because I really don't care what she has to say, and then and skip to his ties to Epstein.
Okay.
So Judge Bruce Reinhardt has ties to Jeffrey Epstein case.
No way! No, nobody has ties to Epstein.
There's his lovely mugshot that we waited a million years for.
Oh, what a handsome guy.
And then only got after he died. However, he died. If he died, moving on.
Whatever
Many
happened.
of the news stories. We'll never know because the tapes were erased or they weren't there. You know.
Well, that's what you do with transparency,
the
right?
cameras were turned off. You know, what are you gonna do?
You delete
People
things.
weren't there. You know, they
or
had
erase
to go
them.
to the bathroom for an extended amount of time. It is what it is. All right.
That's what you do when you want to be transparent, Elle. You delete things.
Right. You cut off the cameras. Just turn off the cameras.
You just that's transparency.
And give him paper sheets that he can totally use to hang himself on. Okay. Many of the news stories about Reinhardt have focused on his representation of associates of serial molester. Ooh, that's an interesting.
That's a new one.
I like that one. Jeffrey Epstein, who killed himself allegedly in 2019 in a New York City jail cell with sheets again, after being accused of trafficking dozens of young women. Not young women, babe. Nope. Young girls, sweetie. It's young girls. They're not women. For
No,
sex.
they were not women.
As part of the long and complicated case that began a decade before his death, Reinhardt was named in a lawsuit. Attorney, this is the background from the. Thank you for the background for the Politico statements. I appreciate that, Palm Beach Post. You're just adding to the story, but you're supposed to be helping and you're not doing that. But I appreciate you helping me anyway get a read on what's happened. Okay, so Bradley Edwards filed on behalf of some of the Palm Beach financiers' young accusers. In it, they claimed federal prosecutors violated their rights by not telling them a plea deal, the sweetheart deal that we've all heard of, had been approved that would allow Epstein to plead guilty to state prostitution charges to avoid federal prosecution. Actually, this would be way before. Okay. In court papers, Edwards claimed Reinhardt used his position as a federal prosecutor to curry favor with Epstein. Then, when Reinhardt left the U.S. Attorney's office, he immediately joined Epstein's payroll by representing the politically connected financiers, pilots, and women who were accused of helping him recruit teenagers for sex, Edwards said in the lawsuit. Saying the unfounded, factual, and
now,
legal
who is this guy?
accusations.
Who is this right here? Oh, Michael Brown.
This is Boynton Beach police officer Michael Brown, who was accused of violating the civil rights of a Boynton Beach man who was beaten up after a chase.
Okay.
That's what it says.
I just want to get background on who this, who they're showing us. Why are they showing us this guy?
Saying the unfounded, factual, and legal accusations hurt his reputation. Not enough for him not to become magistrate judge, but all right. Reinhardt in 2011 asked U.S. District Judge Kenneth Mara to sanction Edwards. Mara declined, saying the dispute had nothing to do with whether federal prosecutors violated the women's rights. The court cannot permit anyone slighted by allegations in court pleadings to intervene and conduct many trials to vindicate their reputation, Mara wrote, in denying Reinhardt's request. Cohen called Edwards' allegations against Reinhardt offensive. The whole idea that he quit the U.S. Attorney's Office so he could become a lapdog for Epstein is nonsense, she said. Reinhardt quit after a nearly 2-decade career as a federal prosecutor in West Palm Beach and Washington, D.C. to become a criminal defense attorney. Good for him, she said. Just because you represent a murderer doesn't mean you condone the murder. Sweetheart, did he murder people now? Who are we talking about? Epstein was not alleged to have murdered anyone, so that's an interesting statement to make. No?
Is he talking about the cop? Is she talking about the cop?
No, I don't know what the fuck the context of that was. If that was even related to Epstein, or they just like took it
I
out of
guess
context
she's just
and put
using
it
that
in there.
for like,
It's like
you know.
an analogy or whatever. Like,
I mean, yeah, just because you represent a murderer doesn't mean you're a murderer, or you're
same with
a
rapists.
murderer. Same.
Rapists need attorneys. I mean, ask Hillary Clinton. Anyway, moving on. Reinhardt, however, did acknowledge he encountered some ethical problems when he briefly represented then Palm Beach County Commissioner Mary McCarthy. Nope. Yeah, that's it. Before she was formally charged in 2009 with a conspiracy to commit honest services fraud by federal prosecutors.
That's a
When
weird.
he stepped off her case, Reinhardt told the Palm Beach Post that his former bosses told him that if he continued to represent McCarthy, he would be violating rules prohibiting him from representing defendants on matters he had dealt with as a federal prosecutor. While working as a criminal defense lawyer, Reinhardt occasionally gave to political candidates, mostly Democrats, campaign finance records show. In 2008, he contributed $1,000, as we know, to future President Barack Obama. That same year, he donated $1,000, and we get more information, to Jupiter attorney Brian Miller, who lost his bid for the state house. In 2012, he gave $250 to Aaron Berg, we talked about him before, to boost his first campaign for state attorney. In 2015, Reinhardt donated $500, a measly $500, to former
Balance it out.
Republican Florida Governor Jeb Bush's failed presidential campaign. Money laundering. Allegedly. The Republican nomination went to Trump.
It just says the Republican nomination went to Trump. That's it. Just it went to Trump though.
Then we learn about his wife again, and then at the end they ask Aaron Berg for some more comments, who is totally not related to this and wasn't given money. And they asked, like others, Aaron Berg said the uproar, this is the very end, about the search warrant after the photo for Mar-a-Lago and the attacks on Reinhardt are unfortunate. The whole backlash against him is unfair. $200, $300. And it's really damaging for our judicial system to have people believe that when a judge issues a search warrant, it must be for some nefarious reason. But he said there's no evidence any strings were pulled or corners cut because he makes money off of this guy. By all indications, everyone involved in the search warrant process followed the law. There's a process in place and it was followed. Probable cause needed to be found. It was. How and when did that happen? Because I haven't heard a whole lot about it. How much did he get? He got $250. So I was counting before as him, and I counted too high. So it'd be like $50, $100, $200, $250 for my campaign contributions. I have another thing. What was my other thing that I wanted to say? Oh, yeah. This is for the appointed, judge thing. So we can look at that document real quick and get that out of the way. And then I'll put this in the chat. Did I put that in the chat? I don't even know if I put that article in the chat. It's been so many things ago. If I haven't, I'll put it in now. That's what she said. Let's see. All right, coming at you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I'll give you the other one.
Yeah, I have a quick video.
And then I can pee after that while you're showing the video. There we go. All right, let's look at the document real quick before you do that, if we can. It's just like a page, so it'll be easy to read. Even though I'm tired and I'm stuck at reading right now. Fecal. Oh, that's classic.
All right, wait, what you... Okay, I was pulling up that. What do you want me to pull up?
Oh, I just put it in the chat. That document.
Documents?
We got the documents.
Yeah.
That's for Shadow Band Refugee, who's totally going to watch this later. This is from 2018. So y'all see what happened here. Okay. RE, appointment of Bruce Reinhardt, C. Reinhardt. E, I can't read, damn. E. Reinhardt as U.S. Magistrate Judge at West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm going to go in deeper. There we go. That's what she said. Okay. United States District Court, Southern District of Florida, Administrative Order 2018-15, filed by CW, March 13, 2018, by Stephen M. Larimore, Clerk, U.S. District Court, South District of Florida, MIA. All right. It says, pursuant to the authority conferred by Title 28, United States Code Section 631 et seq, whatever that means, sequential, whatever, and the authority granted in action taken by the Judicial Conference of the United States, it is hereby ordered that Bruce E. Reinhardt be appointed as full-time United States Magistrate Judge at West Palm Beach, Florida, which is, of course, where Epstein was located for a good long time doing his crimes, at an annual salary as fixed by the Judicial Conference of the United States. And we don't get to know what it is, apparently. It being further ordered that United States Magistrate Judge Bruce E. Reinhardt shall commence performance of his duties on the 19th day of March 2018 upon taking the oath or affirmation prescribed by Title 28 United States Code Sections 453 and 631G, and shall hold and discharge the duties of his office for a term of 8 years from the date of this appointment, subject to the provisions of Title 28 United States Code Section 631E, unless sooner relieved. The clerk will cause certified copies of this order to be entered upon the record of this court, and shall forward a certified copy of this order and the appropriate documents of appointment to the Director of the Administrative Office of the United States Courts. It is further ordered that starting March 19, 2018, Magistrate Judge Bruce E. Reinhardt shall be assigned those cases that would have been assigned to Magistrate Judge James M. Hawkins under the current Magistrate Judge pairing plan, and all matters currently referred or assigned to Magistrate Judge James M. Hawkins shall be re-referred or reassigned to Magistrate Judge Bruce E. Reinhardt, effective as of the signing of this order. Done and ordered in chambers at Miami-Dade County, Florida, this 13th day of March 2018. Signed, K. Michael Moore, Chief United States District Judge.
Okay.
So that is the appointment document. So now we can lay to rest that whole fucking conspiracy theory on both sides of the fucking debate of whether the fucking president appoints magistrate judges. They fucking don't. Shut the fuck up, Twitter. That's why I'm leaving you for a week, you fucking idiots. Anyway, moving on. I'm gonna pee. Enjoy.
This is gonna go big. Can you see it? All right. So this is a little contemplation that I thought would be great. I had them US.
To the raid on extremist and QAnon-related forums.
Sources say there's been a strong reaction to the raid on extremist and QAnon-related forums.
Sources also telling ABC News there's been a strong reaction from some extreme groups online, including QAnon and other groups.
There's been a strong reaction to the raid on extremist and QAnon-related forums,
including those that were active before January 6th.
Including those that were active prior to January 6th. Including those that were active prior to January 6th.
Involved in the January 6th insurrection.
Including those that were active prior to the January 6th riot.
Some have been calling for violence and even a civil war.
Some of them include calls for violence and even a civil war.
Some of them include calls for violence in online forums
and even civil war.
This was the top comment on the search on the pro-Trump site, The Donald, last night. Quote, lock and load with references to a civil war.
Talking very violently about civil war.
Searches for civil war spiked.
They're talking about civil war. Civil war. Civil war.
Civil war. Civil war. Civil war.
This is the kind of violence.
It just shows how much they parrot. And someone made that great contemplation of all the talking heads all saying the same thing over and over again. That's just it's always the same thing. They have the same script. They know what they're gonna say. Like they're not doing actual, like they're just reading off the teleprompter and they're all getting the same exact information. Yes, exactly, Baba. Yes. So Trump filed that motion to not let that court case be dismissed and say that, no, I'm proceeding on with this. And then he got raided. They completely and it's being completely overlooked. Completely overlooked.
What did I miss?
I just played a video of all the, the news talking heads saying the same thing and saying how, oh, well, everyone's calling for civil war. They're looking for civil war. And they're just all saying the same exact things over and over, like they all have the same script. So it was just quick.
Was that in reference to this or something else?
No, it was in reference to this. Exactly. Yes.
It was just their response, and all the right wingers calling for civil war.
Oh,
civil war.
I'll play it again.
Oh, you don't have to play it again. That's okay.
Yeah, that's horrible.
I don't want to see Twitter. Trying to avoid it.
No, it's worse than Twitter. It's MSM.
Yeah, it was mainstream.
Well, it's not Twitter.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's where
it's kind of all the same, right?
But it's just the contemplation that came from there. I mean, they have them other places. That's just where I found.
They should have really booked Guns N' Roses to sing their song "Civil War" in the background for that clip, though. I mean, that would have been perfect.
It was just in response to the the FBI and how they are absolutely they're just muddying the water, and they're calling for civil war. They're calling for civil war. Oh, here. Whoops. It's just always the same things.
I'm having a strong reaction.
I'll watch it back on the replay, but I want to continue the show.
So we were talking about the search warrant also. And I can show you. I have just it's a screenshot of an actual court document. Just for reference to show you who was right there. Just I don't know if it's showing up. Yeah. Just to show.
I should be able to find it. 922 MJ. I'm gonna look that up. I look at every case number I see. 922.
So this is assigned to Bruce Reinhart. Date filed August 5th, 2022. So
MJ, like Michael Jackson.
This was literally the day after they filed that shit. The next day. They on August 5th they filed. Then this is the search warrant that
Got it.
Bruce Reinhart signed.
All right, I got the original one.
Yeah.
The link.
Okay.
Put it in the chat. The private chat.
All right.
The docket.
So
again, buy on Pacer. Ugh, lame.
Yeah. So I was just showing that, it was the day before that he filed that he wasn't going to get rid of the case. And then, they decided the next day that they were going to do that. Yeah. I mean, the screenshot is the same as this.
Yeah, but I want to put it in the chat for everybody to see. So I'll put it in the chat. And if
I'm gonna do my whole document. I'm gonna put all the links in afterwards too.
Yeah, that's why I put it there also.
But yeah, you can see it's exactly the same thing that I showed too. But this is just a live website instead of it being a screenshot of the exact thing. But
I do screenshots when they have like the source of the screenshot.
Yeah.
But when you have the case number, you can find whatever you want. So that's really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I looked it all up. I just left it as the screenshot because it was just easier for me to have that one thing to pull up.
Yeah, but then you can also, scroll down and see all the motions and shit if you want to, which is good. In the beginning of the whole thing. Not the beginning, the updated stuff, so we have like till August 11th. So then it says what happened then. And we can't actually access the documents, but we can see what they're about at least.
Yeah.
It's just more information. So that's nice.
Yeah. So I have an article here that I wanted to bring up.
Whoa.
It talks about
Jewish telegraphic agents.
I know. But it's about
what the fuck? What website is this?
You'll see why.
I don't want to be associated with that. It's weird.
Well, this is just it's just information.
Very Zionist looking.
Okay, well, let me just share the information that I have, and then we can discuss the information. But it's about the judge who signed the FBI Mar-a-Lago warrant is facing violent anti-Semite threat. So they're going after him, Mr. Reinhardt. That's all. This was what it was about right here that I wanted to
scapegoating.
That he's getting these threats, and they took the time to write an article pro this attorney. Like, I don't, what I mean? Like, this is just it's coming from all directions. I'm just showing the very rounded the roundabout of like what's happening here. So Bruce Reinhardt, the federal judge in Florida who signed the warrant allowing the FBI to raid the FBI to raid the former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago property on Tuesday has hit with a wave of anti-Semite threats online. So it's just it goes into down here. So it appears to be a member of the board of the Temple Beth David in Palm Beach Gardens. And he's been a magistrate judge since the Southern District of Florida since 2018, it says. But then they also bring in Epstein into this, which I thought was really interesting. Calls for violence have accompanied anti-Semite slurs, conspiracy theories, and many referencing how Reinhardt represented former employees of Jeffrey Epstein, a case involving the late convicted sex trafficker in 2008. Prior to the Epstein case, Reinhardt worked as a federal prosecutor and then a private practice until 2018. So I just thought it was interesting that they were bringing this up.
4chan.
And then they brought up Epstein. It's it's all
nobody
like
cares about 4chan.
Yeah, I know, and that's
nobody
why
cares about it anymore.
And that's but the mainstream media on the clip that I was just showing, they're parroting this whole they're talking about like QAnon again, and they're
oh yeah, that's in the article that I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was in the thing about the media that I was just showing. They're already priming people for these certain things. Like, you need to like pay attention, guys, because the psyop is like in full force right now. They're gonna use these keywords that you're gonna recognize and be like, oh, yep, it's more of this, it's more of this. So we're gonna be like probably flooded with even more like Russiagate stuff and like scapegoating. I'm just pointing this out so that everyone pays attention to what is being said. Like an all around, they are coming at us, and they're going to come at us with a lot of information, and we need to make sure that we are able to filter through it and find the truth in it. So I just wanted to bring up that following up with from my clip of all of them parroting the same things.
I think I'll just put this other docket in there just in case you don't want another fucking reference to this case from Pacer Monitor, where you can, if you want to, if you have the money, you can buy the fucking documents yourself from Pacer itself and not go through a middleman. So you'll just have that opportunity because all of y'all have, a whole lot of funds available to you. We're not in a recession. It's all bullshit. So
yeah.
Anyway, I found an article on this website called thewire.in, which was extensive about Jeffrey Epstein's sex crimes and new revelations on the role of the U.S. political elite, with a lot of connections, and it also mentions Reinhardt. So I kind of wanted to go through there.
He's just everywhere. That was my point of that. Was like he's everywhere. Everyone is kind of covering this guy,
but not this case.
But not the actual case. They're putting his name out there in all these different.
Epstein is more relevant from 2008. Than this case.
Yes, that was my point. It was like they're putting him. He's everywhere in every which way, but they're not talking about the actual case that he's residing under. They're talking about the raid, the one that's like the flashy case that they want everybody to see. They want everyone to pay attention to that one. They're like, no, don't look behind the curtain. Don't look over here and see this. Like, don't see this part of this happening over here. Like it's nuts.
Look at Epstein again. We hate him, right? Everybody hates him. Let's, make people hate each other on both sides of the spectrum. That's the whole point. As they said, they want a civil war.
Yeah, and that's what they were saying on the, on the media clip that I played. It's like they're priming people for QAnon, for civil war. They are trying to bat these flames, and they want you to look at when they want you to associate Reinhardt with this case, not with the other one, not with the case of Trump versus Hillary and the DNC and Sussman, all those people. They don't want you associating his name with that case.
Also,
they want you associating it with this one, with the raid.
I got the other guys. I got the other magistrate judge, whatever, that guy's information, because it's still there. He still has a bio, which is the William Matthewman guy who recused himself after Bruce Reinhardt. I think in that order. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to call their office tomorrow and see if I can get a statement on what the recusal could be about, like why he did that on the case. So anyway, this is a very interesting article, very lengthy. So I'm going to pick and choose what to talk about here. Let's see here. This is written by, who is this written by? Branko Marcetic. All right. On January 17th, 2022, I looked up Bruce Reinhardt and Epstein and got this. So if you scroll down, keep scrolling, I'll tell you when to stop at Clinton Cash. This is interesting. So we got to do the Clinton connections.
I don't know. I don't see where.
Scroll to Clinton Cash. It'll say it as the subheading.
Okay.
Of course, one of the defining features of the Epstein case is that the financier pedophile wasn't aligned with just one political faction, but was cozy with U.S. elites across the political spectrum.
Because this one, it's not two different parties. Like, low.
Right. Let me put this in the chat. Nope, that's not it. Okay, let me put this in the chat. putting it in the chat. Hold up a sec. Sorry I haven't been as vocal in the chat. I love all of y'all, and I'm seeing a lot of what you're saying, and I appreciate the love for my That's What She Said jokes. I try really hard on them. That's what she said. Okay. But was cozy with yeah, I already said that part. Okay. A fact further reinforced by recent revelations. Most prominent was Epstein's friendship with former Democratic President Bill Clinton, whose presence on Epstein's flight logs made waves when they were first revealed years ago. The expanded release prompted by the trial shows Clinton aide Mark Middleton, whose many phone numbers appear in both of the Epstein address books unearthed, flew 4 times on Epstein's plane in May 1994 alone, and once with Trump, his then wife Marla, and their daughter. Clinton had previously claimed he had only met Epstein a handful of times, even as evidence quickly emerged that he had been raising money from and meeting with him from the start of his presidency. Roughly the same time, in 2019, unearthed records from Epstein's 2008 prison stint showed he was visited at least 20 times by Arnold Paul Prosperi, a longtime Clinton associate and fundraiser, who was among the flurry of controversial pardons the former president made in his final days in office, commuting his prison sentence for fraud to house arrest. And there we are. We have former U.S. President Bill Clinton with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine looking on.
Yeah, look at her. Oh, everyone's really happy. Look at how happy.
Super
They're
happy.
They are
what's not to
very-
be happy about? They're billionaires. They're fucking stoked. They're like,
While
everything's great.
Maxwell's
Got all the kids we can handle. It's great.
Oh, it's so gross.
This is the Clinton connection, by the way, if you're not seeing the connection that I'm making from this to the case to the other case. Okay. So while Maxwell's trial was going on last December, the Daily Fail, I like to call it that, revealed through a FOIA request, sometimes they're right, just like a clock. It can be right twice a day, a broken clock. That Epstein had visited Clinton's White House at least 17 times. His first visit in February 1993, coming through an invitation from Rubin, most likely Robert Rubin, the Wall Street banker, who later became Treasury Secretary and helped engineer the 2008 financial crisis. How fun. Oh, man. Those visitor records also show Epstein numerous times visited Middleton, Mark Middleton, who was mentioned before, who went on to tar Clinton with scandal by using his presidential connections to cash in after leaving the White House in 1995. At least some of Middleton's activities were for official Clinton business. Middleton, who raised money for and served as the director of the Clinton Birthplace Foundation, also worked on soliciting funds for Clinton's future presidential library, refusing to cooperate in a subsequent GOP-led congressional probe of Democratic fundraising. According to one book, it doesn't say what book it is, sorry. I think it's Filthy Rich, but I don't know. On Epstein, the seed money for another of these, although the funny connection with Filthy Rich, written by John Patterson, is that John Patterson ended up, after writing that book, collaborating with President Bill Clinton, who was accused in that book of many dealings with Epstein by the survivors, on a political thriller about losing his child.
It was this book.
Trial, I think.
This is the book. It's the Jacobin. Jeffrey Epstein was the monster capitalism made. That's the book that they're referring to.
Oh, okay.
Just so
I think they're talking about the book in that. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's I clicked on their link. I clicked on their link.
Yeah.
That's the link that went to.
I see. Well, anyway, I think there was also allegations of Filthy Rich, but I don't know. I think they were just trying to promote themselves there. But anyway, moving on. So let's see. Where are we at? Okay. Right. According to one book on Epstein, the seed money for another of these post-presidential projects, the Clinton Foundation's global initiative, may have come from Epstein. Global Initiative is the CGI, so the Clinton Global Initiative, which is a conference that's held where? Davos! No, it isn't. But it is very Davos-like. So it's a Davos-like conference that happens through the Clinton Foundation. I think it's inspired by Davos, but I can't say for sure. Anywho, and also keep in mind that Bill Clinton, William Jefferson Clinton, has a WEF page. Also has a WEF page, Donald Trump. Just keep that in mind. All right, further illustrating how closely connected this Epstein-linked strata of American society is. Huh? Yeah, there's a WEF for that. Exactly.
There's a WEF for that.
Yep. Among the presidential library's files was a copy of The Art of the Deal given to, that's funny, Middleton and personally inscribed by who else? Trump, because they're all fucking related. They're all in the same club. We're not invited. Lest we forget.
I don't want to be invited to their party.
Lest we forget, years later, as he weighed up jumping in the Republican presidential race, Trump was personally encouraged by Clinton to do so. Thanks, Branko. You are getting there. You are getting there to the meat of the matter, and I appreciate you, man. Dims the brakes. Clinton is by no means the only Democrat. Former Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell, we know him from the records, who prominent Epstein survivor Virginia Giuffre has accused of sleeping with her, shows up 5 times on the flight logs between 1994 and 1995, 3 of those times with his wife. In other words, Mitchell, who later called Epstein a friend and a supporter, who organized a fundraiser for me once, was consorting with the sex trafficker in at least his final year in one of the country's most politically powerful roles. Mitchell went on to oversee the Philadelphia Archdiocese, I never say that right, Archdiocese payment of, it's the fucking plural part of it.
I know, I me too, that's what I'm saying it too, because I'm like trying to like say it the right, Archdiocese.
Payment of compensation for survivors of sexual abuse at the hands of priests, assailed by critics at the time as a ploy to get abuse victims to sign away their right to sue. Sounds accurate. Another former congressman listed on the flight logs is former Representative Tom McMillan, whom I haven't seen the name of, Democrat from Maryland, who's listed as flying on Epstein's jet twice on January 29, 1993, 26 days after he left Congress. McMillan went on to have a prolific and controversial career in the private sector, with the Baltimore Sun comparing him to a carnival barker as he attempted to cash in on the burgeoning homeland security industry in the wake of September 11th with a blank check company, firms without any business plan that exist to raise money from investors for a future unspecified deal. Sounds like money laundering to me. It sounds like pretty much what everyone else does, including Epstein. But all right. Numerous phone numbers for McMillan, who appears to have had a home in Epstein's, what the fuck? Fiefdom, sure, all right, of Palm Beach, there it is again, are listed in both of Epstein's address books. One lists him as a congressman, while the other lists his email at Washington Capital Advisors, the private equity firm he owned and served as CEO for since 2004, according to SEC filings, suggesting their acquaintance extended well past that one day in January 1993. Then we got the elite intelligence. So the logs also suggest how Epstein still never satisfactorily explained the relationship with Leslie Wexner, who gave, let's shout out to Leslie Wexner, that motherfucker who's still free and is part of the conspiracy that convicted Ghislaine Maxwell, and yet he's not been charged. So shout out to you, motherfucker. Anyway,
and Ghislaine got how many years?
20 years in a Camp Cupcake like prison. So in Florida. It all goes back to Florida, doesn't it? Isn't that fucking weird how they all end up in fucking Florida? Anyway, whatever. Everything's Florida tonight.
It is.
Nothing weird about that at all.
if people don't see the ties to what we're talking about, when it all goes back to the same people, the same names, and you start hearing the same over and over again, you're like, wait a minute, really? It can't be. There's no way that we have this many freaking, it's not coincidence when, like it's over and over and over again.
Okay, so he gave unilateral control of his finances to Epstein and practically gifted him his Manhattan home, and he drew on a wider world of elites. The July 5th, 1992 log, for instance, shows Steve Tuckerman, the local construction executive who built the Georgian homes in Wexler's idyllic, affluent neighborhood of New Albany, flying with his wife Judy from Aspen, where Wexner owned a home, to nearby Columbus, Ohio. Wexner's wife Abigail, who Judy Tuckerman has called a friend, flew on 2 of the legs of that trip. Also flying with Epstein were Yehuda and Zipporah Koppel, jetting together with the Tuckermans to Paris in September 1997. The Koppels are the parents of Abigail Wexner, making them the in-laws of the man widely believed to be the chief source of Epstein's mysterious wealth. In 2007, as Epstein was being charged by prosecutors on what would end up his first remarkably lenient prison stay, oh, we all know about that, Abigail Wexner formed and then quickly dissolved the YLK Charitable Fund, named for the initials of her father. It soon received a $47 million donation from Epstein at the same time that he sold his New Albany home to the couple for $0. Nothing weird about that. And just 1 month before he was replaced as Leslie Wexner's financial manager. Epstein's connection to the Koppels has gotten little notice until now. Yehuda Koppel, who died in 2006, had been a prominent Israeli military figure during the 1948 war that led to the country's founding, and to the expulsion of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. Let's not forget that part. Afterward, he oversaw the development of Israel's state-owned airline, ELAI, I guess, or AL, I don't know, LL, in the United States, becoming its director. Like many airlines in the Cold War era, LL, is what I'm going to call it, had a close relationship with its National Intelligence Agency, operating at times as a front for Mossad operations, which brings us back to Ghislaine and her father, Robert
Did you think
Maxwell.
that this was going to be about Mossad tonight?
Yeah, it all goes back to
there's ties for that. Like, it's all tied together.
I got a whiff for that.
I love this article. I just think he's so thorough, and more thorough than most. Because I hadn't read anything I was like, oh my gosh, I have to read all of this. This is insane.
Yeah, this is a lot of good information. Very meaty. Like, it's not like a bunch of fluff in the article. It's really like it's full of meat and like nuggets of, okay, I can take this one paragraph and go research this one paragraph and find all kinds of, you know what I mean? From there, it's like, you can go down a lot of freaking, rabbit holes finding information.
Okay, so most notably the arrest of Nazi war criminal Adolf Eichmann in 1960. That's one of the Mossad operations. Its connection to the intelligence world appeared to continue decades later when leaked South African spy cables showed the country's intelligence services backing up a whistleblower's claims that the airline was a cover for spy work. Epstein's relationship to Koppel is only one of several of his possible murky connections to the Israeli National Security establishment. Most notable as is the late Robert Maxwell. You can't expect him to let that go. The newspaper magnate and father of Ghislaine, who, according to multiple reports, was the one who introduced Epstein to his daughter, and according to the deposition of Brunel, Jean-Luc Brunel, may he rest in pieces, bookkeeper, started Epstein's wealth. Famed Israeli spy Rafi Eitan, who incidentally led the Eichmann operation, told Gordon Thomas, author of A History of the Mossad, that he used Maxwell for the crowning achievement of his spying career, selling rigged terrorist tracking software to foreign governments that allowed Israeli intelligence to secretly vacuum up the data they were all collecting. Thomas later put the claim in an affidavit.
Wait, is that the Pegasus? Is that the same thing?
I think this is going to Promise, but I don't know.
because do you remember what I'm talking about, right? There was it was Pegasus, right? That
No,
was all in the until.
I feel like this was a while ago. This is the affidavit is here. You want me to read the affidavit from the Israeli lobby? Personally appeared before me an officer duly authorized to administer oaths, Gordon Thomas, who is an adult and jurist, and has personal knowledge of the facts recited in the affidavit, and who deposes and says, "My name is Gordon Thomas. I am an investigative author, journalist, screenwriter, and motion picture producer. My permanent residence is," that's not how you spell residence, babe, but okay, is Dalgety Co-Wicklow, Ireland. I am the author of over 3 dozen books, a number of which have dealt with various aspects of the intelligence world, including Journey into Madness, Pontiff, and Chaos Under Heaven. I have also written extensively on intelligence matters for such newspapers as the Toronto Globe and Mail, San Francisco Chronicle, Germany's leading Sunday broadsheet, Welt am Sonntag, and for Britain's main wire service, the Press Association. I'm a frequent broadcaster on the subject for the BBC. My work has, which, by the way, if you have not remembered, or if you have forgotten, platformed Jimmy Savile, who was the most notorious pedophile of all time. My work has received worldwide critical acclaim and has never been the subject of any challenge. Over the past 25 years, I have developed a close professional relationship with a number of intelligence agencies through personal contacts with members of the CIA and Mossad, Britain's SIS, Germany's BND, etc. The subject of this affidavit is the background of my latest book, Gideon Spies, The Secret History of the Mossad, published in March 1999 by St. Martin's Press of New York, and subsequently in a number of other countries. The book has attracted wide critical support. See attachment mark A.
This is
I'm
like
also,
really long.
Yeah,
this is like
that's what she
pages,
said.
and I don't think we should go through
Anyway,
this whole thing. It's a lot. I mean, Nick,
let's go to the Rafi part. The Rafi part.
Like this might
the
be too
Rafi
much.
part is at 11, and it says Rafi Eitan is also infamous, at least within the United States, for his role as the Israeli spy master who directed Jonathan Pollard, a civilian U.S. Navy intelligence analyst, in espionage against the United States during the mid-1980s. A director of Israel's Lakam intelligence agency, Rafi Eitan, directed Pollard, a civilian employee of the U.S. Navy's Anti-Terrorism Alert Center in Suitland, Maryland, in espionage against the United States. Pollard reportedly had a very high U.S. government security clearance. Moreover, as an anti-terrorism intelligence analyst, Pollard reportedly had a putative need-to-know that cut across the normal boundaries of problems and issues tracked by the U.S. intelligence community. The combination of his high security clearance and his presumptive need-to-know reportedly enabled Pollard, as part of his espionage work for Rafi Eitan, to access computerized information systems through the U.S. intelligence community, as well as repositories of classified documents. Rafi told me that the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. copied and transmitted to Israel over 1,000 highly classified U.S. intelligence documents, aggregating to approximately 360 cubic feet of paper, which Israeli intelligence obtained from Jonathan Pollard. My interviews with Rafi took place at his house in Shea Street in the suburb of Afika in Tel Aviv, Israel. They were spread over several sessions, beginning on March 11, 1995, and concluding on April 17, 1996. The first interviews were on audio cassette tape and were taken to decide the broad parameters of the story that he would tell me. The tapes were later handed over to the production company Isra Film, who were going to produce the documentary film for Channel 4. The tapes were transcribed by Isra Film, and relevant areas were selected for follow-up interviews on videotape. These tapes were later to be edited for the Channel 4 film. He was fully cooperative and at times a little boastful of his exploits. His frankness astonished me. He struck me as someone who was quite ready to speak openly because he felt he could face no problems later. Like others who appear in my book and on the Channel 4 film, his He more than once reminded me to tell it like it was and like it is. And then it says,
Where are you at? Just I had to run up and go pee. Where are you at right now?
I'm at the most relevant part, which is number 17 in the affidavit.
Oh, you're in the affidavit still?
On page 4. Rafi Etan told me that he used the late British publisher Robert Maxwell to market over $500 million worth of his software to governments throughout the world. As explained later in this affidavit, he pointed out that the US CIA was simultaneously directly distributing its own version of the same underlying, sorry about the plane, tracking software, the value of which is not included in $500 million. He told me that the source of the computer software that Israeli intelligence modified for its anti-terrorism initiative was Earl W. Bryan, who had been a member of the California cabinet of Governor Ronald Reagan during the early 1970s. Bryan had discovered that the U.S. Department of Justice was already using a modified version of the same software product in order to track money laundering and other criminal activities, a fact that Earl Bryan related to Rafi during a visit to Tel Aviv. Rafi further told me that Earl Bryan was angry when he learned about his application of the software in question. The clear implication of Rafi's statements to me was that Earl Bryan believed that he had an undisputed right to a personal financial gain from each and every use of modified versions of this software product, that the U.S. Department of Justice had modified the software in question for the aforementioned money laundering application domain without providing any financial benefit to Earl Bryan. Rafi told me that the computer software product that the government of Israel and the U.S. Department, here it is, finally, 19, of Justice, each separately modified for intelligence applications, is the Promise, which if you've read Whitney Webb, you should know about, computer software product that Inslaw Incorporated developed for wholly different application domains, i.e. tracking cases in public prosecution agencies and in courts. Inslaw, a computer software company based in Washington, D.C. There's so much more information. I'll end on 20. So 20 says, he told me that the FBI, the Drug Enforcement Agency, and the CIA each made use of modified versions of Promise, the FBI to fight the mafia's money laundering and other criminal activities, the DEA to fight against the Colombian drug barons, and the CIA, which made Promise into a weapon every bit as effective as a spy satellite, according to Rafi Etan. So I'll put this link
if anyone
into
wants,
the chat for you guys.
well, the link is right here in the article too, for that.
Well, if you don't want to click on the article, I always put the links no matter where I extract them. So that's a pretty groundbreaking, like big deal of an affidavit, I think. So moving on.
There's definitely more to get into, but everyone, we will leave you the link.
I'm not going to do that again, by the way, and it's almost over, so it's all good. Okay.
It's we'll leave you links, so if you want to dive deeper into this, then we are.
I recommend getting into the Promise stuff because they don't get into that enough here.
Yeah, if you want to follow the links and read everything, I absolutely recommend doing that and getting as much information and forming your own opinion and your own perspective based upon just the evidence that we show. And if you find something that we missed, please let us know, because I would like to know anything.
And lucky, we wouldn't even know that was Promise related. Like they didn't say in the article if we didn't read the affidavit. So
I know,
it's really
right?
helpful to read the legal documents that they put in there, because they don't sometimes read them for you, and they're like, "Hey, just throw this in. Nobody's going to read it." But
because they don't expect most people to look past basically the first part of an article. Like most people don't read past headlines, so most people don't go in and then actually read the source documents that are inserted within like a really meaty article like this. Like this has so much information. This can just bring you everywhere. It's a really good article.
Maybe he was told not to go that far, and he said, you know what? I got to get this information there. They're like, you can put the affidavit in there, but we're not going to let you get into it. Maybe that's what happened.
Well, I
don't
mean,
know.
it could be for time's sake, like for space
Could be.
sake too. You know what I mean? Like how far someone really wants to go into knowing what's happening. I mean, I think it's really important to read that, like read that kind of stuff. Absolutely. And we can do an entire, like, this one article could do, and like this could create an entire series of streams. Like if you went down every rabbit hole that they gave you and like really explored it all and broke it down, like you could, but for our time, it would take us a long, like, that would be like doing our research like right online live, and that would be a whole lot. So we won't do all of that tonight, but definitely I'm going to be looking into this more.
This is deep a dive as we can do in this set amount of time that we have.
Yeah.
For these topics. That are all related. Okay.
Yeah, we tie them all together. It's like we're just building upon this. I'm just shocked that I hadn't seen this covered, like that case covered, and the fact that they're like taking the same players from one case and covering it with like the same players from another case and conflating the two. It can make it very confusing because this is two separate court cases that we're talking about, and then now we're branching off from that and talking about the different players and their connections. Like it's like a spider web, like there's just so much information here that it's really easy to lose track of it if you don't have someone kind of like laying out like at least a map. Like here's at least a map, a timeline, and you can follow.
Okay, Baba Yaga, I put the link again in the chat. You asked what article this is. This is from wire.in, and it's called Jeffrey Epstein's Sex Crimes, New Revelations on the Role of U.S. Political elite, whatever. Anyway, it's very involved, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Go Start. How the fuck is Q still a thing? It is. I know, and they brought it.
Yes,
back.
exactly.
They are reviving Q, and I showed that in the clip of all the the stenographers repeating the same thing, saying, "Oh yeah, QAnon, right wing." It's like, oh, Civil War. They're all saying the same things, and yep, they're gonna revive Q. They're bringing it back. They're like Q never went away. Russiagate, that never went away. We got you. You can feel comfort with the Q.
All right, let's wrap up this article, which is originally from Jacobin, whatever the fuck they call themselves.
Jacobin, I think.
Allegedly. So that's why the guys got no picture or whatever on this website. So this is originally from Jacob. I don't care about the name anymore. I don't like them anymore. Jacobin, Jackoffin, I don't know, but they're mandate. They're pro mandate. I don't give a shit. But anyway, and I don't mean just mandate. I mean the boop, and I can't get on board with that. Like the mask thing, whatever, it's fine. Like at least you're not destroying people's bodies allegedly. So that's a different story.
Yeah.
Anyway, 4 sources. Back to the article. 4 sources, including Epstein's former business partner, told journalist Vicky Ward, that stupid bitch. We don't like her. She lied on a lot of things. That Epstein worked for various governments, including Israel, and that Maxwell had introduced Epstein to Israeli leadership, who decided they could make use of him. Ward had earlier reported that Alexander Acosta, I say Acosta because that's the original, that's the way to say it, Trump's labor secretary and the prosecutor beforehand, but okay, the prosecutor who had cut Epstein his lenient non-prosecution deal back in 2008, had explained that he'd been told Epstein belonged to intelligence. Authorities later found a fake passport used to enter several countries in the 1980s, along with diamonds and cash in a safe in what Epstein's Manhattan mansion.
I'd rather know what's in that. I want to know what was in that safe, not Trump's safe. I want to know what was in that safe.
Yeah,
because I'm sure that there is way more important stuff that is in Jeffrey Epstein's safe than what Trump kept in his
laptop. I thought you said truck.
Because Trump is one person in this whole big web of things, but Jeffrey Epstein was connected to every single one of them. Not saying that Trump isn't, but he has the dirty deeds on, well, he did allegedly have the dirty deeds on everybody.
Jack off bin. That's good.
Jack off a bin.
Jack off a bin.
Jack off bin.
Laptop or lap dance. What was he saying? I can't remember. We were smoking crack. Who knows?
Anyway, Jeffrey Epstein saga is the story of the world's most prolific child sex trafficker, except he's not the most prolific, but he's the most well-known probably, who operated more or less unhidden for decades, not as much as fucking Jimmy Savile, as I have to say that he's way more prolific and disgusting. But, because he was allowed to do the things that he did and for many, many decades with no oversight.
A lot of them.
And so many victims. So many fucking victims. 200 something. I don't remember. It was a lot. It's disgusting. That's more prolific, I'm sorry, than Jeffrey Epstein, which is a bigger name and has more connections, allegedly, that we know about. But we know that Jimmy Savile was also connected to the royalty in Britain, so he was probably connected to the Israeli, operation. He was probably connected to all the
I'm sure that they're all connected. Like,
they are.
It at least overlaps. You know what I mean? Like, there's overlap.
And Robert Maxwell probably had something to do with him at some point in his time on Earth.
I'm sure we will find that.
Sure
we will come across that at some point. Yeah. Like, there's no way that they're not all connected. Like,
I just had to mention him because they don't like to. But anyway. Unhidden for decades, but was unable to consistently escape media scrutiny, legal punishment, and finally justice by dying before he went to trial. In a normal world, this tale of sprawling criminality and public corruption would be the subject of an intense, wide-ranging government investigation. You're funny. That would expose the conspiracy's full scope and the identities of those involved. Instead, information about the case continues to come in dribs and drabs, thanks only to the work of a few dogged reporters and the occasional fortuitous legal disclosure limited in this most recent trial by the judge's order to avoid needless naming of names and protections.
Needless.
And prosecutors' decision to leave tens of thousands of photos seized from Epstein's home by the FBI unreleased. How about this? Oh, I'm going to get to something in a second. Oh my gosh, I have some shit to say about the FBI in a second. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, the public may end up having to wait for the civil suit against Prince Andrew or for Maxwell herself to strike some sort of deal to learn more. This was before she got her sentence. Just as with the John F. Kennedy assassination, obscuring the full truth of the crime has only fed the growth of disreputable nonsense like QAnon, which serves to launder and distract from the intimate involvement of elites like Trump in Epstein's crimes, turning them into yet another culture war sideshow. This is the double tragedy of Epstein's death. It's denied many of his survivors full justice and turned the terrible truth of his crimes into a shield for his fellow perpetrators. So on the FBI raid of the fucking Jeffrey Epstein facility, slave house.
Are we done with this article?
No, I'm going off. I'm going off in a second. So
no, are you done with the article?
I saw it live when it happened, and they moved shit from the property. We never saw what was on the computers that they removed, and they were very fucking, secretive in that they like put up a cardboard thing from a box that happened to be in the room of this mansion to cut out what the drone camera could see from this wonderful person who's probably Q related, Rusty Shackelford. And so let's see if they still have a fucking channel on YouTube. That'd be funny if they got it taken down. Yeah. But they were there on the island. This was on the fucking island when they raided the place, allegedly. And it was just it did not look like an FBI raid at all. And it was super secretive, and it happened quickly, and then nobody talked about it.
Did you see what Baba said here too? That John G. Trump, the late uncle of Donald J. Trump, the mystery of Nikola Tesla's missing files remain. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
there's
that
some
too.
really interesting stuff. I've seen some information on that, and I'm like, this is crazy.
Also,
like, there is crazy ties with these motherfuckers. They're all connected. They're all friends.
Okay.
Don't let them fool you with their right, left, Democrat, Republican, fucking, ideologies that they throw around. Like, Trump used to be a Democrat, and he was independent before, and then he's like, okay, I'll be Republican. It just shows.
Okay, Lucky, I couldn't find the actual channel. Apparently it doesn't exist anymore because they took it down, but they do have a playlist from someone else that I found, and this is the video of it that I found just now searching for it. So we can look at the raid ourselves and see how that relates to or how that looks compared to what happened at Mar-a-Lago. And how much press did that one get is what I want to know. Who was talking about the FBI raid of the fucking island? And how much was said about it? And how much was shown? The only people who were showing this were this fucking dude with the drone. And they showed that they were being secretive about it and removing things from the property and then not putting it back. Like, there was some weird shit. A computer disappeared at one point, which can only be said because it was day to day. It was like one day there's a computer in this room, and then the next day there's not. And this is the drone footage itself, like, that is in a playlist from someone else who got all of the video, thankfully. There's also a fucking drone footage of a weird ambulance on the island. There was so much weird shit after he died, allegedly. I'm just saying. Also, beautiful island, I must say. The water is very clear.
Yeah.
Hard to hide bodies there, allegedly. You won't see this on any other show. Nobody's going to show drone footage of the island getting raided. That's just us. Let me see. The cardboard part is at 48 seconds or 49 seconds. So it's right there. See the cardboard?
Mm-hmm.
They put that there, the FBI, so that he couldn't look in. It's a secret. And there were people on the island after he died, and there was like a party being set up. It was very fucking weird. There's this weird sacrificial kind of area on the island that he focused on. These weird sculptures and stuff. I don't know. Nobody shows this shit, so we're showing. There was a raid by, I guess, shout out to Luke Rakowski, because he did do a raid of his own at one point. So see all this activity?
Yeah. Why are they out? Why are they out there?
They go everywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they're just.
Well, actually, not everywhere. That's another problem. They don't go
just,
to every part of the island.
They're just sitting like out there, like this is casual or something.
It's very weird. These fucking videos, and there's a whole playlist there. So, I guess I'll put the playlist in, even though I don't know who the fuck this person is. I'll put it in the chat for you guys. Because we link our shit. Let me link it. This is the playlist for the Jeffrey Epstein island shit. Pedophile island playlist. Drone playlist.
That's so true. Baba said if we all had the truthful information from the past, we'd have such a different relationship with one another. Yeah. Like just truth in general, like it seems like people who are truthful are the ones that often are the ones who get smeared.
No, they're always the one who gets smeared. Nobody gets more hate than someone telling the fucking uncomfortable truth. Always, constantly. and nobody will even question it at all. They'd rather, people just rather like walk away than actually have a confrontation and have a nuanced conversation about something that they disagreed about.
Yeah.
It's
Can you
commonplace
put
for
that
people
link in
just
our private chat too,
to
El?
react that way.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, never mind. You did already, right? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the video I'm
that's
playing.
how you
Never
got
mind.
it.
Oh my gosh. See, I'm like,
There's so much in there. Just the ambulance is the weirdest part because it just disappears at some point. It like is there on like a hill and then it's gone. It's like, who moved this ambulance and why? And why is there an ambulance? There
That
should
is
be no
weird.
one on the island other than the workers. They're still there, of course. That's the FBI, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the feds.
Yeah, they're just hanging around like, what are we going to hide here? What are we going to hide over here? Hey, you take this and destroy it.
Yeah, this just doesn't.
Allegedly. Gosh.
Yeah.
I love that this person did this, though. Like, and showed the activity that happened after he died. And that there was weird shit going on. That it was still, like, popping.
Yeah, that is. Now, who has the island now?
I haven't checked. I'll have to check on that.
All right.
There's a whole lot of. I really love that ocean. I have to say, ocean. I like the water. The water looks nice. There is that.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna take this off.
Yeah. Let's not let YouTube find out about
I know,
about
right?
that guy who made it. The playlist. We don't want to promote that person so that they get removed again.
So I want to show the statement that they are talking about, because now the FBI defund. The FBI is like, going everywhere, right? Everybody's talking about that. And I wanted to show a statement that the FBI director, Christopher Wray, came out with. And it says, unfounded attacks on the integrity of the FBI erode respect for the rule of law and are a grave disservice to the men and women who sacrifice so much to protect others. Violence and threats against law enforcement, including the FBI, are dangerous and should be deeply concerning to all Americans. Every day, I see men and women of the FBI doing their jobs professionally with their rigor, objectively, and fierce commitment to our mission of protecting the American people and upholding the Constitution. I'm proud to serve alongside them, FBI Director Wray.
I really feel like I could have done a better job reading that with more Christopher Wray-ness.
Whatever. I wasn't going for a certain thing.
I wish you would have asked me, because I've been working on Christopher Wray.
You have not. Don't let him fool you.
Who has an impression of Christopher Wray?
I know, right?
That's so obscure.
I know.
I knew you guys wouldn't get it. God dang it. I always invest in my energy. Weird things.
Good night, Oz.
Come back when you can.
Yeah, please.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Be well.
Sleep well.
Keep thinking of funny.
Oh, fuck. I forgot to say that I had the White House press briefing thing again. We could circle back to that to see how they responded to the questions from the media, which is pretty fucking funny. Kareem's like, I can't answer. It's really hilarious. Just seeing the press being like, come on. Even the Democrat press is like, give us something.
Yeah, well, I mean, like people, I mean, everyone, what I've seen everybody talking about is the fact that Nina Turner and Jimmy Dore are arguing. That's what I've seen people talking about when it comes to this. And I'm like, that's a distraction of a distraction of a distraction. Like we are you know what I mean? Like how many degrees away from the actual thing that's happening are we with this? Like that for me, that's what I'm seeing. I'm like, and I'm going, oh my gosh. And I'm collecting all this information and this data and this rabbit hole. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I can't wait. It's like, I have to, I almost did a stream yesterday. I was like, I gotta get this information out there because I'm not seeing this information out there. And I was like, this is just this is crazy. This is just insane that this is happening right under everybody's noses. And they're talking about Nina Turner saying, oh, now they want the Republicans
really want
to defund the
about
FBI. Yeah, I want to.
Oh,
yeah.
the FBI thing. The FBI thing. Who gives a shit? I just.
Well, because
she's. Nobody should like the FBI, but
okay, but I was trying to like.
The thing is so annoying.
I know, Nina Turner is like acting like defunding the FBI is a bad thing now because the right wing Republicans and all these other people that normally aren't for defunding are calling for it. So she's like, no, we can't do that. And like, it's like, wait a minute here.
I didn't read that. I read that she was trying to backtrack and say that because it concerned their person, they want to defund the FBI, but not when it was this thing and that thing and that and all these.
Yeah, it's selective hypocrisy, of course.
Yeah,
always.
They all do that.
Always selective hypocrisy. That was my point. Is that yeah, not me. It's crazy because it's like now she's like people are like, people that were supposedly on the left and Democrats and in this, like defund are now like, oh, well, no, it's great because they went after Trump. It's like, you guys are missing all of it. You guys are missing the entire thing that's happening here.
The whole thing, even if you step back from
which is exactly what they're supposed to do. They're doing
exactly. They're supposed to just confuse and conflate.
They're playing their role.
Everything's
exactly, and that's what people are focused on.
As normal, business as usual.
Because that's like the sexy news is, oh my God, did you see that Jimmy Dore is fighting with Nina Turner and now she called him racist because he said we should like, it's like, really?
That was a Drew, not that. I don't like racism.
That's what everybody is screaming about right now, and I'm like, dude, why is it also everyone's missing what's really happening?
It happens all the time.
It's like the go-to is like, poor me, like I get called out for being an idiot on a thing, on a subject, so I got to go straight to this card or this card, some victim card that I can be, so that people will pity me and like my tweets, what I say, and denigrate the other person who said the thing about me that had nothing to do with what I'm mentioning, but I'm going to mention it anyway. That's like the go-to for all these fucking figureheads, these fucking idiot people in the zeitgeist, in the fucking political sphere. It's so fucking annoying.
6 degrees of distraction is what I feel like it is. It's
smear thing.
It's just
every time.
And people get tied in, like caught up in it, and they might not realize that like they're being played, but they're being played. Giving that any kind of attention that is
true. That's social media though. So much narcissism. I'm taking a break from Twitter for the week, so I don't need to see this nonsense at the moment.
But I'm just talking about how it's
no,
it's
I'm saying
of separation to oh, okay. Well,
oh yeah, like, they're chats that you're missing, so I'm a little bit more up to date.
Yeah, no, I was trying to explain.
Sorry. I was responding to Drew.
Okay, what's the timestamp on this video?
12:43 is when she gets questioned by someone about, I don't know if it's the first one, but it's one of the ones where there's a response and a follow-up about the raid. This is the only fucking, by the way, she has not been out since this fucking day. I don't know if they're coming out tomorrow for a press briefing, but it's been 2 days. So I don't know what happened there. Merrick Garland came on today, and then nothing else happened. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. It seems like they're getting away from it. They're trying to get away from the public and the press, but let's see.
The optics of this. Are you concerned at all about how it looks for the Justice Department to be investigating and raiding the home of the former president, who may very well be the current president?
Is that as far up as it goes?
Again, we're just not going to comment on any ongoing investigations from here.
And to Republicans who say it reeks of politics?
Look, I'll say this. the president and the White House learned about this FBI search from public reports. We learned just like the American public did yesterday, and we did not have advance notice of this activity. President Biden has been very clear from before he was elected president and throughout his time in office that the Justice Department conducts its investigations independently. He believes in the rule of law and what we are a nation of law. And we defer any incoming on this particular incident yesterday to the Department of Justice.
Follow up on that, Green. Republicans have said that they will probe this raid if they take over the House or the Senate after the November elections. What's the White House's reaction to that?
Again, I'm just not going to comment on any reaction to what happened yesterday. We are going to refer any incoming to the Department of Justice.
Okay. That's not really about DOJ. It's more about what might be coming your way if the election does not go your way.
That's a hypothetical, and I'm just not going to entertain it at this time.
And another topic, the House is meeting on Friday to vote about the Inflation Reduction Act. Assuming that they go ahead and pass the bill, what are the president's plans for signing it?
No plans at this moment to share with all of you. As you know, there's an enrollment process. It takes some time before the bill can get signed. Nothing to share at this time on what that looks like. So we just are looking forward. We are grateful for what the Senate was able to do just a couple of days ago. And
she has nothing.
Looking forward to the House passing it.
Yeah.
She's got
nothing. She's got a nothing burger. All right.
And nothing for 2 days.
Of course not.
No new news. No Q&As allowed. What do you think this is a Q&A? You think this is supposed to be like a press briefing? What the fuck? Why are you asking these questions?
So I have an article about the FBI and a certain laptop. And
we're getting into the FBI now. I like it. Fuck the FBI. Fuck you, FBI.
Let me see.
I'm trying to think of a fun acronym. Hold on. Federal Bureau of Incredibly Incompetent. Federal Bureau of Incompetence.
Federal Bureau of Incompetence.
Okay. That's all I got so far.
Not bad.
Not another article, Dove says. Yeah.
No, I have a video that goes with it. We can play the video.
The video instead.
We can, yeah. I mean, basically, the article is covering the video of the. This is the repairman for the laptop.
I know, gamer. Isn't that fucking convenient? So funny.
What is he saying? I know. I haven't been paying attention to the chat. Like, I've just been super, super focused on this.
Corinne's girlfriend works for CNN.
Oh. Well, this thing is Fox because
Sorry, Corrine. My gosh. I hate
her
name.
Corrine. The
apparently that's her name. Corrine. They call her Corrine. Some of them call her that.
All right, I'm gonna mute this and mute me and play this.
Thoughts on this raid that took place at former President Trump's home as Hunter Biden heads off to summer vacation.
Well, good morning. Thanks for having me on the show. I think it's a blatant double standard. My family and I have witnessed the bias in the FBI going back as far as October of 2019, when they refused to touch the Hunter Biden laptop with a 10-foot pole until finally in December they came and they took it. And even then they seemed to be reluctant. Then we saw them ignore the laptop during the impeachment trial. So the FBI never provided that information to the White House. So, and then how I was handled, a whistleblower on the left gets anonymity and gets to have their person remain intact, while I blow a whistle and I have to flee the state with death threats.
Yeah, well, speaking
so
of
I've definitely witnessed a double standard here.
Oh, the laptop thing. Right.
Yes. This is the gentleman that that was he was a laptop repairman, and he had to flee the country.
Local, state, and
because
federal search and rescue crews in Truckee.
because the he wasn't safe and he wasn't protected. He got death threats at his repair shop, and and then he says that I guess he has a new book. Who knows? I mean, I can't verify that. I only have his word. As a whistleblower, that he said that the FBI threatened him to stay silent on this. It says it right here in this article. Said they came to his shop in Wilmington, Delaware in 2019 to recoup the laptop following a subpoena. And he had...
Well, the whole thing was another Russia gay. It's like, oh my gosh, this is untrue. The whole laptop story is untrue. And then they come back and they're like, oh, wait, my bad. We were wrong.
Yeah, because it said he tried to hand it over to the feds 2 months earlier, and he said the alleged threat came after he made a joke telling them, "Hey lads, I'll remember to change your names when I write the book," and that, and that's when that's when things changed for him. So, yeah, he said that he alleges that oh my gosh, hiccups. John Paul Isaac claims that 2 federal agents threatened him when they picked up Hunter Biden's laptop. He said he locked the door after the agents walked out. I mean, what would you do? I mean, how insane is that? Imagine being the random person that receives that laptop out of all the laptops. And then
there have been some interesting players in this whole mix of the laptop scandal thing. So I see a lot of people trying to get in on like the info and being one of the whistleblowers and what have you. And I haven't really been aware of his aspect of it, but I've seen other people try to get notoriety from that.
Oh, I'm sure. But I mean, he had to completely close his shop down and leave the country because he felt unsafe. So I just think that it's worth noting that someone else is speaking up. And now that, they raided Trump, and he's like, yeah, they're bullies. So people are coming out, and I think that we need more people to come out against us, against the, the overreach of our government, and, use this to our advantage. We need to say, okay, you agree with defunding the FBI? I agree with defunding the FBI. So let's work together on that thing. Let's be pro defunding the FBI now that it affects you in a way where you feel like, oh, now I understand why you have felt that way. Like we need to bridge the gap and allow people to see that we can work together, even if we don't agree on everything. We don't have to agree with every person on everything. We don't. We really don't. We just have to be able to work together.
Like they work together. They work together, and it works out for them.
They work together against us
because we have more people. We are more. We are many.
We are 90. We are the 99%, and we just have to realize
we are strong together.
Yeah. That, that we have to look at who is the ones that are oppressing us, who is doing these things to us, and stop the doing it to each other and mirroring exactly what our oppressors are doing to us. We need to work together.
Yeah.
Could we circle?
People love division. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ab.
What did you want to say, Steve?
Okay.
Steve hasn't really had a chance to say much, so
no, it's all good. I was saying
no, I don't want to interrupt.
Working together is awesome, and yes, let's do that. And then I was just saying, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt what you were saying now.
No, it's just parallel thought, provoking speaking. So
Yeah.
We had spoken at the same time, but not enough for a jinx. So
Nearly.
So I felt like that was like a little, like that was just a little nugget of something that, just to watch out for, with the repairman, like, with the laptop
well,
repair guy.
also the coverage of shit, because the mainstream media has their heroes and has their villains on both sides of the thing, and they're gonna use whatever they can to get that civil war going, as we mentioned.
Cue the Axl Rose. Come on now.
I don't know this reference. Sorry.
Oh, Civil War.
I know Axl Rose. I know who that
from
is.
the Civil War is was like the only hit from the album that came after Appetite for Destruction. The big giant.
I only know that one.
3 record set. Yeah. Yeah.
Never heard that one.
I focus mainly on the obscure, I guess, because I don't know. Does anybody else know the song
I'm
Civil
sure other
War?
people know it. I'm just not as big of an aficionado of the what they're called.
I'm like an unintentional
What is it
one.
called?
It's just because,
Guns N' Roses. God.
yeah,
Damn.
I've worked in so many different places where they played music while you worked, so I heard all this fucking
Salty.
terrible music my whole life.
I heard
over and
terrible
over.
music too.
Great music too, but all
Oh my
the
gosh,
same
and
music
Christmas music.
over and
like,
over. It's called
Indie Christmas
indoctrination.
music.
It's called indoctrination.
Yeah.
Drew, you should
Retail is
check
the word.
Retail.
Drew, you should check out the interview I did with Fair and Balance. It gives a little. I got she, gives a little bit of that perspective of her background and why she does lean more towards a certain way and everything. It's just.
Sorry.
Thank you, Gore. That's awesome. He's like, we don't need no civil war.
Oh, maybe I have heard it. I don't know if it's really politically charged and nonpartisan. I probably heard it.
That is literally the
I heard
hook
one
right
politically charged nonpartisan song from them, and I was like, "Whoa! I didn't know they could do that." I think
Yeah,
that might
that-
be the one.
I think you're
I
right
just don't
because
remember it very well.
that's the lyric. That's the hook right there.
Yeah,
because I remember reading the lyrics.
it was-
like, damn, they're like.
It was
really
typed
awake.
phonetically too. He typed it out phonetically the way Axl would sing it. It was beautiful.
I don't think I've heard it though. I think I just read the lyrics, so that's different.
Well,
Because I thought they were really good.
Gore, son of none.
Baba didn't like his hat. I like it.
Oh, you're getting closer.
The
You're
guy
getting
on
so
the
close.
article.
The guy
So
in the article.
impressive. Did you just like skip a bunch, or are you actually on track? I can't even tell.
I went.
Almost to the end.
I haven't seen like any of the in between chat stuff. I've been
little
really
too.
focused.
Me
I've been
too.
really focused on getting this information out because like I feel like I don't want to be sitting on this. It's a lot of information.
I don't want to forget anything either. Like to focus on what their connections are. So I wanted to come back to Alan Dershowitz because he came out again, so he's irrelevant again. Ugh, lame.
Oh,
but anyway, the pro mandate piece of
Bro.
shit.
He is a really slimy little weasel.
Lawyer from Epstein who was accused himself.
Reptilian-looking
Never
son of a-
recused himself of working for Donald Trump. But
Of course
anyway, so there's that connection. But I don't know if you can read the LA Times or if they're going to give you a fucking paywall or something, but let's see if that works. Well, actually, I should just do screen share just in case you get a fucking block, you got to pay this amount or whatever.
Oh, Dov, make sure that, you know what you should do? You should email us too. Dov, before I forget. So that we can do we can get the link for your Sunday stream.
This article is from, where is this from? January 17th, 2020. So it's just saying how he will defend Trump at the impeachment trial, and it says like a background on Alan Dershowitz. So just keep in mind these players are all working together, and Trump's a weffer. This guy's a piece of shit. He's probably a weffer too. I'll have to check and see.
Drew, I just said I wasn't paying attention to the chat the whole time. Unless you got it for me, Drew. You got it for me?
Posted what?
Dov's wife does a Sunday Sitch and Bitch, and I want to be able to go to her Sunday show.
Yeah.
Before our show, because it's before ours.
Yeah,
so.
man, get your Stitch and your bitch on before the Sunday show.
I wasn't paying attention to the chat, but Drew's fucking with me like, oh, he already put it in there. I didn't.
Damn it, Drew.
I didn't catch it, Drew. Did you? Huh?
Did he text?
I want to make sure I subscribe to her channel.
This fucker is so annoying. Okay.
Wobbly.
This is an LA Times article, so I'm not going to read all of it. You're not going to get an article. I'm just reading little bits. After months of fiercely defending the president on Fox News, Dershowitz said he will argue. And he's a Democrat, remember that. Doesn't matter. They're all the same. Will argue constitutional issues on the Senate floor, and he did. He said his goal is to defend the integrity of the Constitution and to prevent the creation of a dangerous constitutional precedent by removing the president from office. Lawrence Tribe, one of my favorite Twitter people, a Harvard law professor who supports Trump's impeachment, said Dershowitz is an aggressive, persistent, fairly knowledgeable, quite imaginative, and generally creative lawyer who will bring an unrealistic and unwarranted degree of self-certitude to the trial. This dude's a moron. He tends to be self-righteous in a way that convinces him, but not those whom he needs to persuade that everyone but him is a hypocrite, he said. Dershowitz will hold a unique place in the constellation of Trump's lawyers, past and present. Let's have a reminder of who he associates with. Most have acted, at least in part, as fixers and hatchet men like Roy Cohn, who, if you know Whitney Webb, you know about that guy, Michael Cohen, or even Rudolph W. Giuliani, who allegedly conspired during 9/11. Allegedly. For whatever reason, for whatever purpose, I'm not getting into. But he allegedly was a part of, things that happened there. Okay, whose attempts to dig up dirt on the president's political enemies in Ukraine has led to the current impeachment proceedings. But Dershowitz is an emissary from a more rarefied world that Trump has always found alluring. And he's a former Harvard law professor, which is where he met. I don't know if it's where he met, but he knows another Harvard guy, which is Jeffrey Epstein. The president loves quoting his cable news appearances on Twitter, and he's sought out Dershowitz, an ardent supporter of Israel, because everybody loves Israel, for advice on Middle East politics. Long before Trump, Dershowitz reveled in taking on controversial clients, and that's the truth. In 1982, he represented socialite and financier Klaus von Bülow, who had been convicted of trying to murder his wife in a case that involved adultery, enormous wealth, and intense media interest. He successfully appealed the conviction and then won an acquittal in a second trial. His book about the case was turned into a 1990 movie of the same name, Reversal of Fortune. It won an Oscar for Jeremy Irons, who played von Bülow. Dershowitz was played by Ron Silver. Yeah, okay. That's right. That's accurate. Although he says he voted for Hillary Clinton. It's a big club and we ain't in it. And opposes some of Trump's policies. Last year he wrote the case against impeaching Trump. This would be in 2019. The president issued an endorsement calling it a new and a very important book. He wrote the book before the Ukraine scandal erupted in September. But Dershowitz says he is unimpressed with the case that House Democrats sent to the Senate this week for trial. And then he talks about the impeachment proceedings. And then we go down. And they say he's no longer welcome at some dinner parties on Martha's Vineyard, the heavily Democratic Massachusetts island that has been an elite retreat for the cultured and powerful, he wrote in a much-mocked column for The Hill. Critics accused Dershowitz, who continued to visit the island. Oh, was this the island? Oh, no, this is that island. Okay, cool.
Got it.
Of simply trying to stir up book sales. Dershowitz's defense of Trump isn't the only thing that has generated concern. There's also his association with Epstein, a convicted sex offender. In 2008, he helped the wealthy financier secure a cushy plea deal with federal prosecutors in Florida, while Epstein was under investigation on suspicion of sexually abusing underage girls. A decade later, A Miami Herald investigation disclosed details of the deal for the first time, spurring outrage among Epstein's victims. Federal prosecutors in New York opened their own investigation, leading to his arrest last July on charges of sex trafficking of minors and conspiring to commit sex trafficking of minors. That was in 2019. Epstein died by suicide, allegedly, but not really, the following month while awaiting trial in a Manhattan jail, but the investigation continues to reverberate throughout the court system, blah, blah, blah. And then he says at the end here on Twitter about the people who criticize him for his defense of Epstein. To all my Twitter detractors who presume, despite the overwhelming evidence to the contrary, that I engaged in sexual misconduct, I made my new book, Guilt by Association, available on Kindle for $1.98. No royalties for me. I have challenged you to read it, then tweet. He wrote. Ugh. Piece of shit. Allegedly.
Yeah, he's like, I don't need any royalties. I'm just trying to recover my my status here. I'm just trying to damage control for being a scumbag.
Getting on with him and getting to the end of his fucking arc of this show so we don't have to spend too much time on his ass. Here's the article that he wrote on the 10th of this week, which would be yesterday. I don't know why I said it like that. This is from, who is this? This is from Newsweek. Yeah. Opinion article from him. And yeah, not going to read all of it, but
no, we can't read them. We can't read the whole article.
But anyway, let's get to the meat of it. Hold on. He talks about the search and everything. He says proponents of the search will probably win in court if the magistrate judge reasonably found that there was probable cause, but they may well lose in the court of public opinion where this esoteric legal distinction will not be understood or justified. There may be another reason why a subpoena was not issued and a search and seizure conducted instead. A subpoena must be for specific documents. A search, by contrast, can be more sweeping and many discover incriminating evidence and may discover, that didn't make sense. Okay. And may discover incriminating evidence that was not directly sought by the warrant, but is deemed to be in plain view. The search may also have been designed to send a message that the Justice Department is playing hardball and that it will use every tactic at its disposal to intimidate Trump and his lawyers. These issues will ultimately be resolved in a court of law, but if the goal of those employing these tactics is to prevent Trump from running for president again, because that's what they're trying to equate this with, like, oh, they're just trying to keep him from being president, but it has nothing to do with this case that's going on that we've been talking about this whole time. And even his former lawyer himself doesn't even mention that case. What's that about? Like, look through. Like, I don't think it's mentioned once. Isn't that interesting? Even his fucking protector, his fucking advocate, his lawyer isn't talking about the case. Isn't that interesting? Is all I'm saying.
They're all, that's because, you know what I mean? It's all like, they
exactly.
all know each other and they're all
He even mentions her. He even mentions her, but not the case. It's amazing. And it says in that part, the administration of justice is not a game. The rules must not only be fair, but they must be perceived by the public as fair. They must also be seen to be applied equally. These tactics were not used against Hillary Clinton or Zanny Berger for comparable, gosh darn, violations of the relevant underlying statutes. So even if these tactics can be justified in the abstract, they still may not reflect the actual equal protection and equal enforcement of the law. So he just leaves on that and doesn't even drop a bomb like, oh my gosh, what about our court case? Not or our court case, but his court case here, blah, 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 against Hillary Clinton. That's why they're doing this. That's what you should have said. But it says, I solved the mystery. Here's why Trump wasn't just subpoenaed. That's the name of his article here. He's such a piece of shit. Look at his ugly face. I can't. Not just ugly as in like ugly, but like just shit-eating grin. And yeah, he makes me sick. I'm going to see if he has a WEF page.
Yeah, is there a WEF for that?
There has to be. He's just so involved in everything.
they're all they're so overlapped and connected, and it's insane. It's absolutely insane. And that people can't see it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
He does not have one, but he should for what he does.
Well, maybe when we build some some profiles, we'll have to do a profile on him.
Oh, I put the LA Times in there, and I'm putting that one in there too for you guys if you want to check it out. The sources. But I felt since he made himself relevant again, I would bring up his past. Not enough people do that. Also, the fact that he was very, very pro-mandate for the boop boop, and in a way that was really just aggressive and weird. That he wanted people arrested for not doing it. Like, it's just super weird. But he loves the Constitution and rights.
They like the Constitution and the rights that they apply for themselves. We don't get the same, like they I don't know. So yeah, that was a whole lot of information in one show. I know you guys might be like, holy shit, if you've been with us this whole time. I appreciate it. Please hit the like. Please share this out there. I really want this information to be out there and for people to see, like, the underlying, like how this is all manipulated, and how we need to be paying attention to who the puppeteers are, not the puppets. And these and who is the puppets? Let's identify them and the puppeteers in these situations. Who's really pulling the strings here?
Not your buddy friend.
They're talking about how I know everybody here.
Yeah, the chat just like dissolved into like, punk rock bands and stuff, and like everybody's like, yeah, and then inevitably it comes around to Gigi Allen, and
I like go start. We're gonna need a bigger crime board.
Right?
Yeah, I know.
How much of that red string you got?
It's an octopus with so many fucking tentacles.
Right? How many push?
I don't think it's bad that you guys are talking music. I think we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah.
And and then Steve,
it was heavy. It was a heavy night. We loved it.
It was very heavy.
We needed to mention all of this shit. And one more reminder, because I want to put it on the screen again for people to see that we're not on one side or the other. We're on the truth, the side of the fucking truth, and that is against the people in power.
I don't like Trump or Hillary or Biden or any of these. We're not for those people. We are part of the 99%, and we are trying to point out the oppressors, and also have a tribe and a community at the same time. That's what we're doing. That's what we're working on.
Snail love.
January 29th, 26th, 2018. World Economic Forum. This is the whole speech.
WEF. Son of a bitch. God damn.
Not only is he an agenda contributor, he's been there and he's spoken.
Well, he loves them. He came out just, the week before last, talking about, Klaus is doing an excellent job. They have excellent people.
That's actually kind of an old footage, but it's around the time that he did the speech, actually. I think that was at Davos.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah,
clip
he was all on board with him at that point.
Fully.
They are fucking lying to us. None of them are to be trusted.
Yeah. It's
a show.
It's insane. It's insane. I'm asking you guys to get this information out there. I don't care how you get it out there. Please, though, tell people about what's happening, because this affects us. When they are playing this big war game and they're covering something else, it's a major thing with like something even bigger, a pretty shiny like distraction of a raid. You need to pay attention to what that underlying case, because we know what the Clintons do.
We also know what Trump does. We know that they're all in the same club.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're friends. They're
all
friends
for
that
show.
are fighting. Like they're fighting right now or whatever. Like I don't know. Maybe they don't get along anymore. But
Yeah,
you
there
know,
was a time when I mean, you could just tell by
who knows
by that thumbnail how they were just a couple of young, crazy, and wild cats, billionaires.
Just two wild and crazy guys.
Just two wild and crazy guys.
I know.
Yeah,
like
we know that reference.
Yeah.
I know that reference because I grew up watching a lot of old school SNL
Very nice.
when it was better.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for
the
tuning in,
hot
Gore.
minute.
I appreciate it. Gamer, good to see you.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Good to see all you fans.
I didn't see you
And,
for a couple days, and I missed you. And
Yeah, I missed you too.
make sure you tell your friends about open mic Saturday night. We're gonna rage.
Saturday night.
yes, everybody, please, if you have like a video you want to share, or you like, I have a beautiful garden and I want to come and share my talent about the fact that I have a beautiful garden.
Maybe you're just
Or
into doing
you
Tai
play
Chi
music.
and recording yourself doing Tai Chi to some weird mystical sounding music. That's also acceptable. There's no
share
rules.
your showcase your talents. Write a poem, sing a song. Elle's done that.
You can do
I'm
that.
gonna this time I'm gonna do a monologue, and I'm gonna cold read one because I like cold reading. Actors usually don't like cold reads, and that's why I enjoy the articles sometimes when I'm not tired as fuck. But when I read articles and I get into it, like I love the feeling of reading something for the first time on air. So I read things for the first time a lot and I enjoy it. And if I'm reading something like a scene and I'm doing like a monologue and I'm cold reading it, I feel cooler because I feel like I have not even seen this and done any work on it and I'm doing great. Like I get really,
it's good for the self-esteem.
Yeah.
You know?
My dyslexia gets to me when I'm reading stuff sometimes, and my brain just like
it's the same phenomenon that like when you listen to when you're recording something and you listen to the take and you play your solo or whatever you're going to play in the spot that in the amount of bars that you have and you nail it the first time, you're like, oh
yes, it's nice.
That same feeling. Yeah. It's a good feeling.
But I can only do that with a side. Like I'm talking about like audition shit. Like people don't like auditions, but I didn't mind auditioning. I like cold reads a lot. So that would be one of my favorite things of casting when I'm like doing a cold read or I'm having somebody do a cold read and I'm reading along with them as the casting director. That makes me happy. I'm like, oh, this is so fun.
Gamer.
I just love acting.
Gamer. I know you can't be online all the time. I know you have other things to do. I'm just letting you know that we love you and we missed you. We noticed that you weren't here. There's a couple people I have noticed that I haven't seen. Has anyone seen like Little or Riley?
Where is Little? I miss my squirrels.
I know. Let's do a squirrel distraction for Little and see if we can send some positive vibes out there to wherever Little is. There we go. There's just like, I notice you guys when I don't see you, and
Yeah. So thanks everybody for coming out, and we will see you very soon. Definitely Saturday night.
Love you, Oz.
On my live stream, Steve Cutler Live. Please,
yes.
Please subscribe if you.
Oh wait,
already.
isn't we have a thing, right? Because I had you make it.
Yeah, we have
ahead of time.
There's a thing.
So we can go grab that link.
Go grab that link and share it up.
I'm going to.
All right.
Is it easy for you to grab it, or should I grab it?
I can't do anything.
Okay, I got it.
I have impairments in this.
Because then you can set the reminder. Oh yeah, and please make sure you're subscribed while you're here. They unsubscribed some people from the YouTube.
Yeah.
So Drew was saying that they did that.
They unsubscribed 1,000 people from Lucky on Twitter today. So
yeah, they 1,000 people.
Happen.
There's some crazy bot shit happening on there. So yay!
Excellent.
It's mostly bots, remember, because of the Elon suit.
Yeah.
Who's not involved in any of this.
That makes
either.
perfect sense.
And not associated with Epstein himself at all.
Not at all.
No, nobody
Did
knows
we
who they
imply
are.
that? We're not experts.
All right, where is the? How do I get the thing? Oh, there it is. All right, I'm gonna grab the link.
Gore, I same. I don't know if you heard before, but I miss auditioning. I miss acting, but they fucked up, and SAG is dumb as fuck. So, not even just SAG, but Central Casting sucks ass too because they do the tests and I don't do the tests. I won't do the tests if they are fucking fitting. They aren't. Sorry, I was continuing.
This is for Saturday night's stream. If you hit the reminder, it should make sure that it gives you an alert.
Yeah. Come on out. And sing a song.
Oh yeah, Sabi did a show with JB. I'll have to check that out.
Yes, we will.
We like them.
True gamer, true about SNO.
Yeah.
So yeah, we think about this as like, your audition, I guess. I don't know.
If you miss
auditioning, then come and do a fucking thing like you're auditioning,
We'll make that big star, kid.
Showcase yourself. Like,
listen, you're gonna be a big star, kid. We'll take you all the way to the top. What?
Yeah, Saturday is an open mic. That's what.
That's right. Saturday night.
Saturday
night.
Mike.
We have a thing. Yeah, that's what she said. Aram got it. Oh, boom, boom.
I was being very inclusive in my That's What She Said tonight. I don't know if anyone noticed how inclusive I was being, but I was being very woke-centric.
I noticed I noticed a pronounced sense of inclusion.
Very inclusive.
Oh, cool. You've subbed Steve. Yeah. Make sure that you guys are subbed over
Barbara
there, too.
B. Rewind away,
Sub
lady.
to everyone.
We will talk to you soon. Come see us on Saturday night. We love you.
I'm sorry Drew didn't get his book. I'm not in charge. Once I published it, I have no control.
Drew's got it bad for some
I did find it, though. It was like really close
fantasy.
to me. And I feel like
fantasy.
an idiot that I found it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Barbara, you're not gonna want to miss what we covered in this episode.
It's good stuff.
Crazy. Oh my gosh, like I was like bursting at the seams, trying to like make sure that I could,
articulate the idea.
This one's up there with the Hunter Biden, Devin Archer episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is definitely some breaking news that we broke. Like, I haven't seen this anywhere. I don't know that. I don't think we're probably the first. I'm sure that other people have, caught it, but I haven't seen it in our realm at all. So,
Well done, ladies.
We connected everything together. That's what we do.
We did.
Putting the dots together.
You got the first thing, and I got the second thing, and the second thing, and the first thing had a baby, and that was the third thing.
I know. Yeah. It all laid out there and connected together.
Like
it was
symmetry. It was poetry. And
it was like we actually like plan this or something. Like I was just like pulling information. And I'm just like,
as if there
I'm
were
like,
producers
Ellen needs to
I
do
told you,
this.
I was like, oh my gosh, of course he recused himself too. I was like, come on.
Yeah, once you like looked at, I didn't really tell Elle what I had. I just was kind of like, here, and I sent her a bunch of links to like let her see.
No, I get that, and I totally understand that too. Like,
and you just like followed it and went, whoa, and like we were just okay. We pulled more stuff together after that. I think we did a really good show. I think we covered a lot.
It's as
of
inclusive
stuff.
as I think we can be within the parameters of this venue.
Yeah,
without getting into too many details.
Yeah, it's crazy, Barbara. It like wait until you hear like the timeline, because we go through a timeline, and I think that's really important that we went. I was like, how am I going to present this where it's going to make the most sense, and that we can follow it, because it's like two different, it's two different like
and I couldn't even get on the same page
cases.
I was like, please. I wanted to get on the same page as you. I was like, we got to get on the same page so we can figure out where we're going because I have so many fucking.
I know. I forgot to tell you. Like,
so
I didn't know you
overwhelmed.
were getting more links, and so I was just like, I didn't even say like,
you
yeah,
know,
we're
I
gonna
do
do
my
it in this
homework.
timeline. You know, I just
have
kind
to
of
do my
pulled it
homework.
together that way.
I gotta do it. I didn't even send you something in the chat, and I wanted to send the document with Reinhardt's name on it, but I forgot to do that, and I don't even know if I have it anymore. But I'll try and find it and send it in the chat. It might be in my articles. Let me check. But I'll put it in the chat, like for you guys to do your homework or whatever. It's really just simple. It's just his name on the fucking document.
All right. Steve, are you going to go live? Are you going to do anything tonight? I have to do my links first.
No.
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 We'll probably be around tomorrow at some
Yeah.
point, and
reckon.
definitely Saturday. And then Elle and I have a show on Sunday too. So
That's right. So plenty of
we will
stuff.
be here
Content up the
plenty in the
wazoo.
next few days.
So thank you all for coming.
Yes.
And-
Enjoy, Barbara.
I'm glad your sister's feeling better, gamer. That's good to hear.
That's good. Yes.
Good to hear. And everybody, I hope you are all well and stay well. And thanks for hanging with us again.
Yeah, and Dov, make sure you email us the link so that we can get that out there too. And
Put new strings on his guitar so we can play on Saturday.
You're gonna play on Saturday?
He says he hasn't played in 20 years. Come on, let's go.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited.
That's dope. That's the kind of inspiration I was hoping was going to happen. Like, come on, anybody who has a thing that they want to do, let's do it. It's fun. Come on, man. It's fun, Jack. Do the thing. Corn pop. Come on.
I like roaches and kids jumping on my lap. And
I got hairy legs, Jack. Come on, let's.
Oh my
come
God.
on, corn pop.
Hey, don't forget to hit the like button, please, and share this. And we love you.
We love you. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Love you. Sleep well. Blah, blah, blah.
Hydrofield cuts through my neighborhood. Somehow that always just made me feel good. And I can put a spare bulb in my hand, light up my yard. Late at night when the wires in the walls sing in tune with the din of the falls. And I'm conducting it all while I sleep to light this whole town.